Hello, everybody. Welcome back in. We are now continuing on with that North America side of things after an extended break. So if you are a fan of the North American Counter-Strike, the qualifier and whatnot, we're back in with it. And it is the All the Marbles game here, right at the tail end of the day for the Group B side. Canada already locked in to the game tomorrow against Panama. We are now looking between Costa Rica and Guatemala to who is going to be facing off against Team United States. It will be a tough matchup, but of course, if you can make it through to that, I think that is bragging rights within itself. Guatemala, for me, the team that we've caught the most of, looking relatively winnable, but there have been some wild moments from this team, you know, complete drop-offs. There was the 13 rounds in a row yesterday that they suffered. They still make it through here and indeed give themselves a chance against Costa Rica.
Yeah, you know, let's not beat around the bush. Guatemala have had really high highs, but then really, really low lows. And I think that is probably the main point. Whereas Costa Rica, I feel like, at least if you compare scores of these two sides against similar sides, like Canada, like Ecuador, it seems a little bit more clean cut for Costa Rica in that sense. Canada always were going to be the number one team in this group. That's fair enough. Both of them picked up 2-0 losses. It is what it is. But against Ecuador, we at least saw Costa Rica take that one in a pretty clean 2-0, whereas Guatemala's was anything but clean. It was very scrappy. At times quite tough to watch in a sense. And I think Guatemala needs to clean up a fair, decent amount coming in towards this. We have the Guatemala side on your screens. However, just to mention, Malbs is not playing. He's on that graphic, I know, but Malbs, I hate to burst the bubble. He will not be playing. He was probably down on the team list before the tournament started, obviously, with his very recent move towards G2. He's now in Europe. Blast Fall Showdown or whatever starts in like 2 days' time now. He's in Europe. He would be in like 180 plus ping. There's no way Malv's in the server. He hasn't been in the server so far. So the team that we know of is Anti-Stage, Mitters, Timan, and Cruzen coming through rather than, of course, Malv. So basically, minus Malvs plus Cruzen is the team that you should expect. And of course, Rainmaker has also come in at times. They've got a 6-man team that they've been sort of floating with in both the two series they've had. They've sort of changed it up a little bit of who's been there the whole time. But I'm pretty sure we'll see Rainmaker in. He was pretty sick yesterday.
He was actually really good, yeah. So I think it'd be great to see him again. He was a player that you have to kind of keep your eyes on, right? There was a lot of over-aggressive moments, I think it is safe to say. But indeed, excited to see what Guatemala can do. We've seen some great Counter-Strike out from this team. We've seen some more questionable Counter-Strike out from this team. So it is indeed up in the air. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, we've got Costa Rica. Actually, a team that we've not caught up with quite yet. So, you know, we're not entirely sure of what to expect here. They played off against Canada. That game was a little more open yesterday. That was sort of our off-stream game. We were like, okay, can they maybe bring it? Could they take a map? Can it give us a picture? But unfortunately, it ends up being pretty one-sided. But we have Lighter, Matata Tontos, which is an insane kind of name there.
Yeah.
Might just go with Mata on that one, I reckon.
Yeah.
One JBC, so keep getting crazier as we go down. XYZ, love it. BJM as the final player. We've got some great names out here from Costa Rica for sure, which is always going to have us on side as ultimately name sayers, part of the job for sure. You gotta know how to get them rolling quickly. But yeah, Mata Tontos, I think it's not that bad actually once you said it a couple times.
Yeah, it sort of rolls off the tongue a little bit. Matter might be a way in which we can sort of shorten it a little bit. Sure. But then, you know, there's a lot of short names, but with a lot of, you know, syllables here. You know what I mean? XYZ is a bit of a mouthful as well. JBC, BJM. They love the 3 letters, it seems, here for Costa Rica. We haven't caught these guys yet, so I'm interested to see what they can bring. And like you touched on, this is for all the marbles, right? This is all about qualification. Winner of this, you are moving forward to tomorrow. You will be taking on the United States, which is a tough one to say the least, but at least you do make it in towards the playoffs, which in itself is a pretty decent thing. And who knows, you know, United States, they're not in an impossible team to beat. They've been in pretty good form so far, but a good day, and who knows what can happen. Here's our veto for this one. We've got Ancient to kickstart things. Mirage will be our map number 2 pick for Costa Rica. And if we need it, Inferno is our decider. Now, a couple of different points that we brought up here. Mirage was played by Guatemala against Canada, and that was a little bit of a tough one where they only managed to get 5 rounds on that map, whereas Costa Rica did beat Ecuador on it, which is pretty good. When we saw them play yesterday, Ecuador also beat Guatemala on it. So already some positives there. If Costa Rica beat Ecuador on it pretty comfortably, and Ecuador beat Guatemala on it pretty comfortably, Mirage feels like a bit of a shoe-in. Ancient, on the other hand, I look at this one, and it's a bit more of an open map. Costa Rica did beat Ecuador on it 13-10, but Guatemala were able to beat Ecuador. So who knows, right? I think on paper, the way I look at this series for me is I do feel like Costa Rica are maybe the favorites just in terms of head-to-heads of the common enemy, in a sense. If you could use Ecuador as a bit of a comparative note, it does feel like Costa Rica are maybe the slightly stronger side, but who knows? That just could have been a on-the-day type of thing.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's, some really weird stuff to work in, especially on that Guatemala side of things. They still looked okay on the Mirage, right? For a good period, they were actually in the lead, and it felt like they were going to have themselves a 2-0 coming through, but unfortunately, yeah, it was this mental kind of run of dropping 13 rounds in a row in total. They were up 9-0, it goes 9-3, and then we were like, okay, should still be able to win it from here, and it just wasn't the case. So maybe if they can tap back into that, it could be a good map for them, but we're on the fence. We're on the fence, to say the least, with the way that things have gone down on the Mirage. At the very least, it's the Ancient, indeed, that becomes a bit more interesting. Again, very, very close. Nearly ended up slipping away from them, but they managed to find the energy there right at the tail end against Ecuador. So we'll see, man. We'll see. It's a difficult sort of matchup here to predict once again, but I'm quietly hopeful for a good game of Counter-Strike. I do feel, again, maybe what it comes down to, like you're saying, is just a little bit more from Costa Rica. The maps feel good for them, and they have, indeed, as we talked about in the last series, sort of that recency bias coming in.
Yeah, absolutely. And who knows coming in towards this, right? I think on the day we've seen, like we said, Guatemala's highs and their lows. I mean, that series against Ecuador was a really big showing of it. I think you obviously touched on it a little bit earlier, but that 13 in a row, where we've seen kind of rough times out from Guatemala. I mean, things like that are really difficult to get a look in towards. As Guatemala, they just seem to have these real kind of peaks and troughs in terms of their Counter-Strike. But either way, we are underway. We're live in towards our final series of the day. And the final series of the group stages in this qualifier. Winner will be moving on to take United States. This is a big one as Costa Rica start on that CT side.
Be an A-hit coming down mid.
Managed to find one despite all that. There has yet to get into the bomb site itself. Rainmaker on the server here, it would appear, and he is getting aggressive, of course. Meanwhile, down in towards mid. Bit of a fight going down there. No one goes down on the back of it. Rainmaker through the smoke is making himself known. It's all over the shop at the moment. It's an abandonment of the elbow play. They're on top of each other here on that Costa Rica side. Nice and crisp from stage. Will get it done for my money. Lighter with these Julies. Flash goes in, trying to just isolate the fights. Does get one. Any more here, and maybe we start to believe it's on. There's not a lot of time to work with. They draw him in. They take him down.
Yeah, and that was the big issue. I think just right at the end there, it was all a timing play, and timing was of the essence, but not, unfortunately, I guess you can say for Costa Rica, not on their side in that one. 1v3, never going to happen, never going to get off the ground. So ultimately, not too bad for Guatemala. Good start for them. In towards their map pick, take this T-side pistol around, give themselves a bit of sort of leeway out the gates. That's what you want to be seeing. And now we can look in towards the second round where there isn't too much of a buyout for Costa Rica with, probably minimal expectations as well. So a chance for Guatemala to get a strong start coming into this, which is exactly what you want to see for them. Costa Rica, they're going to go for a 5-man stack in towards Red Room. It might actually get some kills here. Oh my god, they're going to walk. It's like a parade. They're going to walk through it. Here they are. Hello. They pop up. And they're going to get 2 to start things.
Could be workable, The bomb is hightailing its way towards B. But another kill coming in. I mean, 5v2, even with the bomb going down in good time, is still a really nice look here for Costa Rica. Timon. Nice find on the first. Not spotting out the second player over there, though, so you got to be careful here. Overlooked angles could be the death of you. Timon, though, on this Khalil, making it work. Gets the spin around as well. 1 versus 1 now. As JBC's got P250, he's got a Mac 10. He's going to go in for the defuse, and Timon... Oh, no way. He's going to look in eventually, surely, yeah, and it's open enough for him to work off of. That would have been kind of crazy. However, the 2v5 conversion is actually fair play from them, I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a real moment there where it looked like it wasn't going to be on the cards, but it looked like Costa Rica could be able to work with a weird no-buy round. I guess, thankfully, and most importantly, that isn't the case. And we go back in towards another round where we look at what Costa Rica can now bring to the table. Full buyout for them. We look to see whether they can really start to put the brakes on Guatemala, or is this going to be one of those real high moments out for the Guatemala side on this T side where, we saw yesterday, the T side is really solid from Guatemala. There's no two ways about it. It's this CT side, which is the big vulnerability. So I think for me, for Guatemala on Ancient, I'd like to see them take bare minimum a lead. 7 rounds on the T side, and I think they might be able to give themselves a chance. Either they go in 6-all or even a deficit, and they could be in a bit of trouble. I think we might have server issues by the look of it. People are ice skating around here.
We are gliding.
Got the skates on in the server. Guns are floating.
Maybe a little bit of a reset here. It seems to be sort of stabilizing. Oh, no, spoke too soon. Spoke too soon. Okay. Definitely going to get a reset on the round. Back to us for just a second, just to kind of figure what's going on there. That does look a little bit server side for sure, though. Nobody's moving. Lots of typing in the chat going on. That's also something you don't experience very often, right? That's sort of the server having a bit of a melt. That's not usually how it goes. So I think everyone's a bit like, what the hell is going on? I've never ice skated in Counter-Strike before.
Yeah, it's like surfing, but on flat ground. Yeah, hopefully only a brief thing. Maybe just, a quick pause and a reset of the server. Sometimes these things just kind of fix themselves with a short amount of time. It's just like a little blip in the internet or whatever it is. But we'll see. We'll see. Either way, I think it's safe to say this one is going to be a reset coming forward. We're not expecting a hell of a lot, really, in terms of... nothing was going to happen in that round. Tech issues is what it is. Let's look at the overarching side of thing. I think is the most important. This is the first good round coming through from Costa Rica. If they aren't able to find success here, I think they could be in a little bit of a problematic spot where, at the very least, Guatemala go 3 and then probably 4-0 up. At that point, that's already a fairly decent T-side start, generally speaking, and maybe where we get to see the best of Guatemala. But just to kind of touch on what I was talking about earlier, when we caught them yesterday, Guatemala were great on the T-sides. They had, there was multiple times where we saw them get like 9-3 halves. It was their CT sides that let them down because they are a little bit puggy, a little bit more, I think, of a mix in a sense compared to some other sides. Their CT sides were very, very vulnerable. As we saw, but at 9-3, they got flipped on its head. And they ended up, losing that one 13-10, and then going into the next map, starting CT side and losing like 3-4 in a row. And it was tough. It was really tough to see for them. So the big thing for us is I think they have to take a lead, Guatemala, heading in towards that halfway point, or else I'm going to be not fully convinced.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think I'm kind of agreeing with you as well. Both these teams maybe need to give themselves a pretty solid foundation to work with, right? I think that, that obviously speaks to just a decent level to work from, particularly looking down the barrel of some of the opponent's map picks and things like this. But yeah, it's not fantastic signs, right? We talk about the pistol being a bit more random. I think that ultimately just looked like Costa Rica got a bit caught on top of themselves in Donut. Yeah. There was like that flank that came in that didn't find anything, but was just enough to really throw them off the beaten track and yeah, make them a bit shakier. But then they managed to win out this pretty much full eco round, So, well, at least coming close to winning it out. And I think that for me, that, again, is a little dangerous on the side of Guatemala, that they're maybe not putting their best foot forward here.
Yeah, maybe it spells a little bit of... it feels like a bit of a looming sort of risk, I guess, in a sense, where it's like, right, if they're on a little to no investment, I think we saw 2 P250s and then 3 USPSs. investment minimal is the main point we're saying, right? And they make it so close. It is inherently a little worrying. I mean, something that it kind of is like, okay, it's all good, but still worrying in a sense. So let's see. I think this first gun round will be the big telltale sign for me, though, where we'll see maybe what Costa Rica got up this lead, but also how Guatemala fare when it comes towards the gun rounds.
Yeah, definitely. I think that, again, getting things started off cleanly is a really good building block for this team, and Guatemala exactly, looking like a squad that need that momentum behind them because of how difficult it's been for them in the past to get off the ground. We've seen some pretty bad halves from them. So we'll see, right? It's going to be an interesting kind of turnaround. Unfortunately, though, folks, we are still in this tech issue at the moment, obviously trying to keep things going and keep things flowing, but we're going to have to hit a break here while we wait for this issue to get sorted. So stick around, we'll only be a few minutes. Hello, everybody. Did say it was going to be a quick one in there, of course. Seems like we've got things sorted here, so just waiting for it to get kicked off, and then we'll get back into the game, of course. Comes a little early on, never nice for everybody involved, really. I think everyone wants that Counter-Strike, wants to get into the feel of it, and ultimately, we don't have loads and loads to talk about, so indeed, we do have to have a break, unfortunately, but it sounds like everything is sorted here.
Hopefully, anyway. We don't 100% know, but we've heard admins saying that it's more or less ready to go. Or I think people are joining back into the server and all the rest. It was just a classic server issue. Quick reset, players rejoining, no issues, everyone's there. And it should hopefully be going on the way in just a moment. Like you said, not a hell of a lot to talk about, but I guess what we can talk about is what is upcoming. The first gun round coming through for Costa Rica. Really do need to hit the ground running, I think, is the big thing. Where at the moment we're looking at this and we're saying for Costa Rica, if they come in towards this and they take it, they put the pressure right back on Guatemala, can build the foundations of a very good CT side. If they're to fall flat, however, it probably leaves Guatemala going 4 rounds up before the next gun round comes through. Already, that's the T side starting to build up very decent stability there, which can be quite difficult to start. We've seen, at least against Ecuador, right, where when Guatemala get going on the T side, they're pretty tough to stop.
Yeah, definitely. I think Guatemala have given us a little bit to be hopeful for, just in the sense that there was this really close round before we had this sort of tech issue come in, where it looked pretty good, actually, with where the weaponry was at and everything all coming in together to try and retake this B-bomb site. But just, again, some really, really cool heads over on that Guatemala side. And I think that we know, given a bit of history of where like Malbs is at now, that the scene is developing, the scene is moving up, and that's always really, really good. I'm sure we've seen it many times in kind of conventional sports where you have an individual break out for a country, get into the world of their particular sport, and it has a knock-on effect, So I think that may well be something to consider here. Guatemala, after yesterday, might look to themselves and feel a little disappointed with how close it ended up coming. And I think, there could be a lot of space in here for improvements. Big game here for them. Yeah,
no, exactly that. Hopefully, we're heading underway in just a second. We came live with hoping that we were ready to go, but seems like for now, at least we're on a bit of a waiting sort of vibe. But yeah, like you said, not a hell of a lot to talk about. We just wait for this game to get back underway. It is the last game of the day. And these two have been waiting around for a little bit as well. We had a bit of it was like 75 minutes break. And yeah, trying to get things underway, I think, surely for them as well. I'm sure they've been waiting all day, itching to get the Counter-Strike underway. And because this is the last game of groups too, it's on the other side. United States probably waiting to see who they're going to be facing. This is going to be winner of this facing United States in that first semi-final. And that is for a spot at the World Esports Championship. So again, for sort of all the marbles there.
Yeah, for sure, man. It is going to be a tough matchup for whichever team ends up making it through, right? We've looked at Team USA as being sort of our clear favorite. They go 3-0. Looks to be the only team that are actually going to... Oh, no, Canada are playing Ecuador as we speak, to be fair to them. Not sure whether that'll be sort of a forfeit game coming in. We've seen a few teams do that. It looks like they are kind of going live over there. So we'll keep our eyes on that one, try and let you know how that goes down as well. But ultimately, USA, still with what they've given us, have had some very, very one-sided games as well, to be honest. So I think that they do come through as that sort of clear favourite. And given now that they've had some time off, because they had a forfeit win today, they will potentially be preparing, at least, I wouldn't say necessarily for the matchup directly, but on their own game, securing their position and, just getting focused up and working on maybe that nuke. It's a map that we've not seen an awful lot from these, mixier, puggier sides. So the nuke as a super solid pocket pick is a great look for Team USA.
Just checking in over towards the other game as well. Canada, Ecuador, map 1, on Inferno. It's 5-all. So at least, hey, it's not Canada kind of walking all over them. I think they've obviously had a pretty good run of things so far. Yet to drop a map. Obviously against Guatemala, we caught that and it was 13-5, 13-3. Pretty simple stuff, I think, safe to say. And then against the Costa Rica side, it was a 13-8, 13-4 as well. So, pretty simple stuff for Canada. They haven't really been tested in a similar vein to the United States, who have looked really clean. So have Canada. United States over in Group A, they finished their 3 games. The last one was a forfeit, but they finished their games plus 34 round difference, and Canada come in towards their final game. They are playing it, so the round difference is going to be a little different for the United States because you don't get plus or minus when you get a forfeit, but Canada have a plus 32. So at least in round difference off what is technically the rounds of 2 games played so far, plus 34 for USA, plus 32 for Canada. Pretty evenly matched in terms of those two being the tops of their group, though. They were the favorites coming in towards this qualifier, and they've been playing like it. So, yeah, not bad.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. I think, indeed, we kind of looked towards them and sort of wanted to consider, what was going on with that team, and they have kind of shown us and delivered. So I think that, again, it is looking pretty excitable into tomorrow's playoff games, and a lot to look over, really, and a lot to be excited for. I don't know whether Panama come through and, pull off some moves against Canada. That could be kind of interesting. I think that the Canadian team, although clean, has maybe had some vulnerabilities there. I don't know. Is that certainly something that you want to look towards, or no?
Who knows? It is definitely, I don't know. It feels like a tough thing to call, right? I think I would probably, basically, if I'm being completely honest, I'd be very surprised if Canada and United States don't come in towards those playoff games to make them look quite comfortable. But, I've said statements like that across this this weekend, basically, and I've been proven wrong a couple of times. We are live, finally. This round number 3, this gun round does get underway. 2-0 start, of course, for Guatemala. Costa Rica, their first investment. What do they got for us? FAMAS spamming through. Going to get one, but only.
Not quite going to be enough from that position. Oh, my. Guatemala, okay. Turn it around quite quickly. And indeed have put themselves in a pretty good position here. Ante will go down as the bomb gets planted. Kit is available here for Lighter, so we'll see. There's plenty of time for Costa Rica, you would say. They've got good information, good sound cues to work with over here at the temple entrance. Really well played for the 2-piece. Going to be staged pretty far away from the action then. Smoke down onto the bomb and bullet in his cranium. Costa Rica get on the board.
Yeah, nicely done for Costa Rica. Getting that first gun round with some level of comfort, at least, 2 staying alive. Retake's very successful. I don't think there's too much you can complain about. Maybe the FAMAS in that first fight, overfighting a tad, but even that, it's been slightly facetious in a way. They win the round. I think that's all that Costa Rica will really be caring about, and especially because, the round prior was quite expensive. Even the pistol as well didn't give them a lot to lean back on. Guatemala don't have a buy here. Despite getting a bomb down and getting 3 kills, they don't have enough left for them to work with. So they're going to have to eco here. Should mean Costa Rica tie this game up 2 rounds apiece. Even though there's like an MP9 in play for BJM, it should have no issues.
Indeed. Pistols out. They're in quite quick. So do have to watch this here, but no smokes to cover off the danger areas. Trying to brute force the bomb in, but even that's going to be impossible. Flawless round comes across for Costa Rica. And they will even things up quite quickly. So looking good, looking clean, as we were expecting maybe out from their map pick. But ultimately, Guatemala back round with a bye. We'll see if they have got anything up their sleeve here.
Okay, Guatemala. With this reinvestment coming through, a lot of pressure on it too in the sense of, we're double Khalil coming through, AKs across the board, but let it slip in. We could have a bit of an awkward spot. Lead over towards Red Room. That's going to try and just spam down through that corner of it, see if we can catch anybody crossing in towards mid, but Guatemala go for a slow play in towards mid. Walking across here, and probably the interesting thing for Guatemala too is that Costa Rica have no owners to take mid control here at all. Bar Matter playing at range toward Red Room. Now, for me personally, this is not the best way to play that. I think because of that angle, especially if you're boosted up like that, you're letting them cross in towards Donut because you can't spot them there, and you're taking a bit of an awkward fight. Doesn't work out well for the first instance. Guatemala, now to 5v4, looking back towards B.
Got plenty of utility to work with, and you see this flank coming in from mid as well. A big gap left by Costa Rica. They did not patch it. And Mitis might just be able to win the round from here. Good timing on it. Double spray down is easy. Just BJM and XYZ. Kind of want to go with Z in some moments, but XYZ, it does roll better. That's maybe the one thing that I would give across to, the American English is the Z rolls quite nicely.
All right. I mean, for Guatemala here, it's a really nice round that gets taken. Opening fight, it's a little awkward in a sense, and it's gifted over towards Guatemala, and then they just barrel in towards B, group up, play the numbers game, fights go really successfully in their favor. I mean, they barely even take damage, right? That's exactly what you want to see. And Guatemala going to put another round on the board on this T side. We've already spoke kind of at length in towards yesterday and towards today about how good this T side is out for Guatemala, and that's another prime example. When they play it properly and when they, take their time to isolate fight and do this good setup and execute that they have under their belt, they're a really difficult team to break down, and Costa Rica have just felt the wrath of it. Now, the good thing is, they rebuy back in. And they have an AWP in play as well, which is pretty huge for them. No reinvestments or upgrades needed for Guatemala, of course, as that was flawless. Only 5 points of damage that gets dealt to them in that previous one. We'll see. Nade and Molly combo. It's again slow here from Costa Rica. I do want to see a little bit more aggression out from Costa Rica. They're not taking any mid control.
Yeah.
They're not taking any shelf control or cave control either. I mean, normally, if you're here for lighter and you've got a smoke down, this is a perfect time to be, at least you or somebody else, be dumping util behind there, but just going to give it up and allow Guatemala this space.
For sure. That's usually the area, I think, the mid push, the mid presence that you're talking about is generally where we'd expect a CT side to just make themselves known, just to have the info in and make a T side sort of fight for it, threaten the shelf push. But not seeing any of that from Costa Rica at this point. Now I'm going to go for a later move on the ramp. Spotting a little bit of something, but unable to really make it work. Late smoke in at cave is kind of a nice move, however. Scaring Guatemala away, and they're somewhat aware of, or at least expecting, an A-main push. There's actually nothing coming their way. So 35 seconds, no kill for them. They do have these low bars to work with, but yeah, no kill, no control. But another gap here in towards Donut. I think this one will be a bit more accounted for, but it is proving to be a bit of an issue for Costa Rica. The bomb could get dropped here. 15 seconds to go. Waiting for this smoke. Just feel there's nothing that they can do. They're going to cross each other, and there goes the bomb. And with it, probably the round. Regardless of kills, ooh, it will be retrieved just as the Molotov goes down. Rainmaker desperately attempting to get it planted. He will just about. Timon covers him off. Can they turn this into the round then? BJM, he jumps the gun and goes down. 2 versus 1. They know he's in main. The molly goes wild. But XYZ is in a really difficult position here. They know about him exactly. Timon just going to keep playing the information as well. He's got to go charging in. He's not ready for this quiet player behind default. And down he will go. Guatemala with a big win.
Yeah, that's a massive round to take as well. In the end there as well, even though the Molotov airbursts, which looked like potentially it could have been an opener for Costa Rica in that 1 versus 2 to try and isolate a fight, they just play it so patiently That's all Guatemala have to do in a post plant. I think we saw a couple of times yesterday where they were really happy to fight and maybe at times over-fight in those situations. This time, they realize the best thing that we've got on our side is the clock, and they use it to their advantage. Patient, disciplined. It's exactly what we want out from Guatemala. And it has had a knock-on effect too as well. The buy is tough for Costa Rica here. No investment, but one Deagle, one P250. They've been around like this scary before, but I think Guatemala have learned their lesson. This time, nobody looking over towards Red Room.
It is. Ooh, finds himself a triple. Will eventually get dealt with. This is one of the fights of all time, but Rainmaker will indeed win it. 36 HP for XYZ on the other side of the map.
All right. Smoke. Flash over towards short side. A long flash as well to come through, just in case anybody was close up towards Timon. But, yeah, not to be. Last man of XYZ, they know where he is. He dropped a Molotov to maybe give himself a little bit of space in the exit here, but ultimately, he might not even be given that luxury of saving, in all fairness. He's going to get hunted here to some degree. Oh, his shadow spotted. I think you'd only just realize as well, XYZ. He gets caught regardless on the way out. Nice work coming through from Guatemala. These T-set rounds are flowing in some pretty nice succession. I mean, of course, that was a low buy round, so you don't read too highly in towards those. However, next gun round that comes through Costa Rica. I say, have to really make something of this. It is one of those as well where, you know, it's good to see Guatemala finding success. I said they probably need to be taking bare minimum a lead, i.e. 7 rounds heading in towards that second half, because we've seen how feeble their CT sides have been before, but it does feel like a lot of that discipline that they've lacked in the previous couple of days out for Guatemala, at least for now, seems to not be creeping in towards their play style. They're not really feeling any pressure. They're not making these unforced errors that they had even yesterday against Ecuador, for example. It looks and it feels better. Opening 2 kills, though, will go the way of Costa Rica. So maybe I spoke a little bit too soon.
Yeah, maybe. It seems to happen, doesn't it? You know, they have these few rounds where they look disciplined and there's sort of weight on them. And then every now and then they have a moment where it's like, okay, we got a few rounds. Maybe we can just go a bit free now. I want to see what I can get away with. You know, some very, very cheeky players on this Guatemala side of things. Solid finds, though, for Costa Rica. Trying to dig out another one, and they will indeed get away with it. JBC brings it down just ante. And the flash is nice. He will find it. So, third round comes in. Costa Rica, just a couple more to close this gap. Guatemala, however, plenty of cash to go, and this could be a good time for one of those cleaner rounds out from the tees.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's still a 2-round game. Definitely a conversation to be had here about Costa Rica on the other side. Looking not terrible in the overarching position that they're in, right? Only a 2-round difference. That's a very clean CT round that they just put on the board as well. So Guatemala aren't exactly given the luxury of just running away with the T side, dictating the tempo and all the rest. And this time we do see a bit of aggression coming out for Costa Rica through mid. That's one place that they slightly neglected for me. This time a lot better. Nade, Molotov combo that comes behind. It's just going to take a chunk of damage, but same can be said to JBC and BJM. Nades doesn't bang properly. Anti won't take any sort of notable damage. Looks to fight as well. Lighter. Just going to get out of there, but he just walks away forward, and he can't save his teammate.
Yeah, a little awkward, but at least staying alive, keeping control of that B bomb site. They're going to rotate one in. His head rolls, however. Ooh, that's not ideal. Smoke kind of stopped. Still sort of does the job, I guess. We go for the plant here, and nade coming in. It's big damage. BJM trying to spam away. Can't find anything just yet. If he'd gone for it in the cave smoke, he may well have found 1 or 2, but nothing really on the cards at the moment. There's kits available. That AWP, though, is going to be difficult to get into this retake, honestly. He's trying to just hold the line. No one directly in on the site itself. It's a nice open plant to work with. 2 go down quickly. Smoke onto the bomb. They've got to try and cancel this, but there's too many to get through. And Costa Rica in the 4v3 retake will make it work.
It's big, isn't it, as well? Saving an AWP, saving an AK on top of it, just as a bit of a cherry on top, and making this a one-round game now. Of course, with that bomb plant, we could be tempted into a buy here, in all fairness, for Guatemala, or at least a hero AK situation. I mean, Timot's got 6.8k. That alone could even tempt in an investment. He buys one, drops one over, maybe try and squeeze out Mac 10s and Galils around it if they really wanted to be audacious. But I think the best way to go in towards this round would be a hero AK buy, a little bit of util alongside some pistols, and try and make something of this. They are just going to opt for Mac 10 and a few upgraded pistols, but they're going quick.
Oh, nice find on the AWP. XYZ up top, though. He's in a really good spot here. Mowing them down. Will eventually fall. The P2K not strong enough. However, Costa Rica get it. 5-5 now. Game starting to move a bit faster. And Costa Rica looking good. It's taken them some time for sure. But yeah, that retake for me was really, really impressive. Big rifle on the card, so you can see the money, particularly for that T side, is just not really there. But in the CT end, kind of struggling a little bit. Shouldn't matter too much because we're right at the end. But either way, Guatemala need it. Especially if things go flawlessly here for Costa Rica, it could potentially be an easy 7th as well.
Very true. Nade smoke combo coming in towards elbow. The one in which Guatemala aren't given the control for it. Nade behind it too does a really decent chunk. And my god, this is a lucky man still be alive. Same comp except for BGM as he gets caught. And it might be a second as well for stage. That is lovely. XYZ gets caught too. Brilliant double opener.
Looking good. Another one locked in. Going to be Mata out here with the AWP, but no opportunities really coming his way. JBC on the other side of the map. So they now know where these remaining 2 players are at. Maybe lost track of the AWP a little. The bomb is on the way. Oh, if he plays it well, but he's dropped down early. Not going to be ready. However, his crosshair in and he lands the shot, but it ends up being a leg. That could have really turned things upside down. Stage surely has this one. He does indeed. So a big win for Guatemala. They take number 6 at the turn of the half.
Yeah, it does really feel like out of nowhere there as well. Guatemala, just when it felt like they were on the back foot, a double opener comes through from stage. They have to really fight over towards that A site, but they make it work, and they will guarantee bare minimum a 6th on that T side. I think that it's feasible, workable, however you want to put it, but I do still feel, as I was saying earlier, my sentiments that Guatemala, I think they need at least 7 on this T side for me to be a little bit more comfortable about them. At times had their pretty alarming moments on the CT side. Something that Costa Rica could use in their favor. Bit of a spam. Through that wood, nobody close. Double over towards shell, triple in fact, in all fairness. So mid-play, again, is that priority. And a similar vein where Guatemala are given this control here. Mata takes a fight, but he falls away after he gets tagged down 7 points of HP. Fair enough.
It is indeed. He's going to keep eyes on it, though, which is pretty smart to have that kind of awareness. So no free cross, but Guatemala just trying to make their presence known. It's actually going to be a donut play here from them for the most part. XYZ ready in with this MP9, so he maybe has to let them in, unfortunately, to be able to get anything with this. It's a lot of space for Guatemala to work with. Mitters getting the nades ready to go. That smoke is the only one that they really have available. Oh, no. He needs to go back to the NART videos because it's failed. 5 on 4 now. Looking good for Guatemala, however. Not going to make too much of a difference on that there. Smoke. They are going to go for this retake, but I bet they wish they didn't have to because it's not looking good.
Oh, not especially now. An aid has come through. Matu got tagged early in towards this round at 7 points of HP. He's got so much to do here. Off at range hoping. And now he's all that's left as well. This round's done. Guatemala going to be locking in a 7th. And they will lock in a lead. So that is the bare minimum for this that I asked for. That's what they get for Guatemala. I still feel like there's still a little bit of concern, right? Ultimately, because we saw it happen on a numerous amount of occasions yesterday, where that CT side had a couple of weaknesses around it. However, Guatemala, a hard-fought half, one in which they take a lead, take a pistol here, and we're cooking a little bit. However, Costa Rica take a pistol, probably in the position to tie this game right back up, and before you know it, could be game right back on, and it's still a tough one to call here.
Oh my goodness, bit caught off in towards mid, but Rainmaker keeps them coming. Gonna pull off the reload, looking for a bit more. He wants all the kills available. Not gonna happen for him, but Mitis closes out the round. Costa Rica trying to burst in towards mid, but Guatemala no respect. Rainmaker, we pointed to him as being, you know, a pretty keen player, a pretty solid number for this Guatemala side. He has been kind of quiet, but that's a great way to turn some heads.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Super aggro. I think at times, right, when you play this puggy CT side and you really are akin to fighting, it can come back and bite you a little bit, but in that instance, not at all. Really nicely done. Costa Rica just get no mileage at all on that T-side pistol round, and it puts them massively on the back foot now. We're talking about what's probably going to be a 9-5 scoreline. I mean, already pretty damning. The barreling up towards B ramp, however. And B9's doing a lot of damage, but not as many kills, I think, as they would have wanted. Anti. Oh, Mata actually kills a teammate. And he goes down to the nade. I thought he got the kill to finally drop Anti, but 1 point of HP. Somehow, this guy survives at the end there, and it will be Guatemala getting a 9th. And flawlessly, even though it didn't feel like it in the round at one point.
No, for sure. Kind of getting down into the dirty Counter-Strike now. It does seem these two teams happy to scrap it out. It is just Guatemala a bit more of an ability, I suppose, to them. You know, you look across the scoreboards, it doesn't feel like the kills are massively far apart, but Guatemala just have a few more in the bag, a few more multi-frag players, really. And that's kind of the key thing. Some players that are pretty hard to trade at the moment.
No, I think you're right. It's just, well, it has looked relatively even. It's just that level, or actually, I think probably more the floor of Guatemala is a little bit higher right now than Costa Rica, is the way I put it. It's fine from JBC, and in all fairness, XYZ behind him, keeping him alive, is a really nice little 1-2 punch. The MP9's trying to get proactive here on this bonus, and it doesn't work in their favor.
Nice frame from Mata, though. Oh, okay, and BJM also coming in, so round has maybe fallen apart before it's even got going here. But we'll see. Rainmaker left alone to try and take some names. Clean enough, unfortunately, leaves him on 18 HP. So,
yeah,
not really expecting more to come out from this round. He's still sticking around, though.
All right. Oh, yeah, not going to end up on anything. Rainmaker gets caught. Costa Rica, it's a nice round. I think the opening double is really where they get a lot of the space to work with. The two guys swinging out from cave, that's a strong position which gets immediately nullified. It gives them that ability to then wrap in towards mid and know that they, for the most part, are going to be absolutely fine. And it actually prompts the elbow guys to make a move there too, which they do, and effectively kill finding towards that boxes player. Then they can move forward, wrap in towards donut. Nice and simple. I think with Guatemala, because they had MP9s, they just want to get up close and personal. It just doesn't work out. I don't think it's even the worst idea. You've got two ways of playing that. You either really try and shell up, but with MP9s, it's probably going to be more awkward. So you want to try and catch somebody off guard. They tried it, didn't work out. I'm not really too against it in that instance. But Costa Rica, good round for them to take. They've got a better buy-in towards this one. And, you know, comparatively, it's a quad FAMAS buy for Guatemala. So it's not exactly the most bountiful of investments off the back of losing your bonus. Could potentially be a chance for Costa Rica to spiral positively. Timam, close right in towards K, but they don't check him, not yet.
Molotov will push them away. It's actually a decent bit of damage onto two players, right? So they'll certainly take that. Gives them the Jag control here, but if they're able to get anything more, I would be surprised. It looks to be a B move. I thought that was going to be a flash coming over as I looked at the minimap. Not quite the case, so a dry look in towards ramp. Could be interesting here. Rotation's going to come around pretty quickly. Anti goes down. He was healthy. A little bit of a switch up, but while blind, BJM solidifies the second kill. And the idea is there from Guatemala. The execution, though, unfortunately, not as good. And they will drop yet another round. Costa Rica starting to close this gap. Should be able to pick up 8 now.
Yeah, it should be a one-round game, really, without too much hassle here for Costa Rica. It's going to be a low buyout for Guatemala, maybe a bit of a gamble stack to try and catch them off guard. But this goes back to what we were saying. Guatemala do have a little bit of a weakness on the CT side, and this is where it's starting to show. Just a little bit, at the very least. Expectation, one-round game. Rainmaker's got himself out of Deagle, but that's really all we're wielding in towards this one. So a forward spot that we're in. No two ways about it. One spotted out towards long. It actually team damage towards the back of Lighter's heads, but it'll come over towards Cubby. Doesn't actually do anything. Molotov will stop the swing there at the very least. And in rotation, Mata catches one.
Immediate pull away then for the bomb. Gonna try and make that a bomb site work. Mata should have this one in the bag as well. Stage not expecting him to still be around. They will go in for the rotate. It's not a solid A rotate, right? They're still a little bit unsure. Is it going to be mid? Where's the presence? So we've got Anti here, 15 HP. If he gets 1, I'd be surprised. BJM makes sure that he does not. So any kills here are going to be good for Guatemala. Just take a bit of money away and keep the gap nice and tight rather than Costa Rica able to hit the 9 potentially and then have loads of cash. But not going to happen. Flawless one for them. Big bolster, big swell of the coffers here.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my, game on. Game on indeed. Of course, to remind you all, as you see top right, this is Guatemala's map pick. While they are still around ahead, it's getting worrying now. Definitely getting a little vulnerable. A little bit more vulnerable than I think Guatemala would have liked, especially off the back of, you know, a lead at the turn of the half, then a pistol off the back of it too. This is difficult. No two ways about it. What have we got? Spy back in for Guatemala on the CT side. We fall flat here. And we can see Costa Rica not only tie the game up, but probably take a lead too.
Stage. Oh, good spot for him here. Yep, I like the look of it, and he makes it work. Timon finds JBC on the backside. Stage with the switch up. We'll keep it coming. Mata Tontos to win it out 1v4. I think they might know about him a little bit, but not looking to get too giddy here. Yeah, just keeping this one locked in. Smoke down, AK's retrieved. The nade does minimal damage. Second nade does a bit more, but still, I would say healthy enough to give the 1v4 a go. There's not really many areas of the map that he can be in right now.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that it feels like they sort of sussed them out yet, Tim, at range. Well, that's a really nice round out from Guatemala in the end. They're only the one casualty, but Costa Rica just try and fly into fights. It doesn't work out for them. And the spacing on the trades was a little lackluster. You can just see Stage gets the first, gets the second, still doesn't get traded. He's got a teammate fighting out as well. I mean, he gets his ability to isolate fights time and time again. And that is where we look at sort of small things like that discipline or like that spacing, which are in mixed teams a little bit harder to come by. Costa Rica, that was one of the best opportunities they've had to really take this map by the chokehold, and now they've allowed Guatemala back into a position of comfort. 2 rounds ahead, they've cracked into those double digits as well. Only 3 rounds away from taking it as well. Is all the positives that they want to see.
Big round here. Costa Rica to potentially keep themselves in it here. Spray down comes a little close. Timon staying away from that. Doesn't want to mess with it. And rightfully so. It can be a dangerous old game.
Okay. Flashbang. Gonna pop themselves in here. Nobody spotted. Not yet. 55 seconds. A real slow round from Costa Rica. Trying to pre-fire there as well. And Timon will take a bit of damage in all fairness.
Yeah, does have to be a bit careful. It's only the two-man defense on B at the moment. Guatemala are expecting something different from Costa Rica. A dangerous step out. Mata maybe scoped in a bit too deep. Either way, it doesn't matter. BJM uses it as his moment to strike. The smoke quite clean around the corner, but again, job going to be done here. Man advantage for Costa Rica. Feels like it's going to be a difficult one. Guatemala still looking to mount the retake, but fresh smokes here, man. Don't really fancy their chances. Position's going to be known. Boost? No, just a two-man swing. Trade not quite there. BJM doing God's work in this round. Will eventually go down into the 2-on-2. They weren't ready for another player in the cave. Rainmaker on the bomb. No way he gets away with a 10-second hold here. Nah, JBC goes looking for him and takes him down. It's a bit close. The bullets whiz past his ears, but he will steal it for Costa Rica.
Yeah, probably a lot closer than I think he would have hoped, but I mean, ultimately for me, BJM, what a round from that guy. 3 kills to his name, but the 2 that he gets initially to crack open the B site, uber important. That one that just catches the smoke plumes, super important. If that guy falls away in towards long and stays alive there, it's going to make that take considerably harder and probably enough for Guatemala to work with in terms of taking that round and giving that retake a go. So really, really important for BGM. Does a great job at giving them space. And, you know, Timman was trying to be a little bit of a nuisance and make sure that he couldn't get away with all too much. Low buy for Guatemala. This is a prime example, an opportunity for Costa Rica to tie this game up. Light has got the right idea. That nade could bank and could do a decent chunk, and it does on towards stage.
Early smoke out towards middle. They're still really looking at this A-main presence on the Guatemala side of things. It will be mid, so I mean, there's potential for this to kind of work out. You know, drop this player that's moving in. Maybe your cube guy gathers some info. So I like the look of where it is at the moment. There is that information. We'll see how it goes down in A-main then. Kind of a bait and switch setup. BGM going to do a good job of checking all his angles, though. Finds both of them. Not quite ready for Rainmaker. Ooh, and hold the phone ever so slightly. He's got his hands onto this AK. He's got armor as well to work with. He's not afraid to take the fights. If he found that, maybe we were on. It's going to be down to Ante. He's not got armor, though. They're going to know about him. They hear him coming in. Surely no chance at it. Smoke goes down to just sort of cover off a little bit of an area. The flashes will slow him in his role. He's ready for one in A-main. Where is this other player, though? He doesn't know. He doesn't fancy it. He'll keep the AK.
Okay. I think that's just a small little luxury. Another round in which, in all fairness, goes close for Costa Rica, but I think all they're caring about now is that they're winning them out. Still, the long-term econ is actually a little bit dicey. But round wins and bomb plant is going to mean money in the bank, and that's all that they care about. 10-all. We've tied this game up. Pressure now on the shoulders for Guatemala. They're going to buy back in. They're going to get an AWP as well for stage. We lose this round here. And because their economy probably gets broken again, we're talking about Costa Rica maybe even having map point on their opponent's map pick. And that in itself is quite damning. We know this next map on the docket is a pretty good one for Costa Rica. Not so much for Guatemala. So in this series, this does sort of feel a must-win. JBC for the first trade. Oh my god, Mitz is going to get both by accident, but he'll take them all the same.
Okay, well, this round's turned upside down all of a sudden. Out on A, though, quite deep. We'll see what they can find with it. Molotov comes in, forces Rainmaker out, but he's got a flash over the top, of course. It's just going to be lighter. May well thin the numbers, but finding the round itself, no mean feat. And he's got the bomb. Does have the bomb. They're acutely aware of that. You see Tim and he's pulling away here to just try and get eyes on. He gives it up, so you never know. Lighter now could get some control, could change things up a little bit here. Timon ready for the fight, though, and will take him down. 11 for Guatemala, all the way down to the wire. Once again for this Guatemalan side, but they have taken the lead at the very tail end.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my. just when it felt like an opportunity. They get the opening kill as well with a MAC-10 in towards Cubby, but then a double from Mitis through the smoke. He spotted one just jumping above the box, is trying to go into a shelf. The second just comes by pure chance and luck, but I mean, sometimes that's just part of the game. What can you do? Okay. Game is absolutely on. 11-10. And for Costa Rica, we're in a spot at the moment now where pressure absolutely on their shoulders. Low buy. Expectations probably quite tempered here, and it's not a good start.
Indeed. The overtime play coming through from Costa Rica. Maybe just want to lay down 1 or 2 in this round, you know. Give yourself some confidence moving into that overtime. Into the mini comeback you're going to have to pull off, of course. So, not so sure on this one. Honestly, I feel like the buy could have been here, but they really do not want to take any chances, it would seem.
A shot from stage. And so you will see off the penultimate of BGM left all alone. Guatemala about to find map point on their map pick, and it's actually come with a relatively solid CT side. Fadeaway shot from stage there is a beaut. Not bad. Not bad at all. 12-10. Costa Rica have to go flawless for 2 to take us towards overtime, but you know, panic set in a little bit into that round. They come in with just a pistol. They try and go for a quicker one. They step up the tempo. Doesn't work. It can barely even scratch the surface. A dink on towards stage is as good as it gets. They can even get a kill. Now Costa Rica, they're once again going to buy back in. I see a Galil. I see a MAC-10. So it's not exactly the most fruitful of investments.
Yeah, for sure. Rainmaker in at middle. He may well have just done it. Big 2-piece from him. A big couple of rounds coming in. Oh my god, XYZ. The fight from above is dodgy to say the least, but he might have brought them back into it here. Com's not quite there. Maybe just feeling like, you know, Mitis needed to watch his front. He was a little screwed, whatever happened, it felt like. Either way, they've lost control. They've lost sight of where things are going here. Timon holding middle. The rotations are quite quick, trying to get ahead of things on the A-bomb site.
Stage. Just spot the shadow before they fight. And they will. There's an elbow, and he'll take that. That's enough for the kill. He's going to set up for a second. Combo with that smoke and the flash, but he's left all alone now. JBC, he's a known quantity, and he's a dead man walking. Guatemala going to see off their map pick with actually a really solid CT at the tail end. So already positive signs, it has to be said, for the Guatemala side. There was maybe a little bit of worry at one point as Costa Rica was starting to spiral. Guatemala seeing that off at a 13-10 fashion as well. We'll take that.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think, again, we're seeing some very good signs from Guatemala. Some of the rounds looked good. It felt like individually they were the better side, but just a couple in there, overfacing, initial peaks not quite going their way, right? Again, protocols and the early utility usage, which I guess kind of falls into that, really. Not quite there for them, you know, but when it comes from an individual level, I think this is a decent team, and they seem to have some nice moments. Costa Rica on the other side of things, maybe not quite up on that same sort of level, but like we saw some good retakes from them on the CT side. We saw that they had a few more executes in that back pocket, or maybe not deeper executes, but like set rounds for sure. So we'll see moving forwards now whether Costa Rica can get it going on the Mirage, but it's a difficult map. We talk about it all the time. We've seen it on this side of the North American qualifier as well, that the Mirage is very up and down for a lot of these teams, and it really just opens the door to like that comfortability. So Guatemala could say, okay, a bit of hard work there, but now we got the Mirage. We like this map. We play it a lot together on a Friday night, you know, and indeed, it's not Friday at the moment, but you get the idea. So I think that I'm quietly worried for the Costa Rican side with how close that one goes down. And again, this mental game that we talk about, these guys, they don't have coaches behind them. They're not often in these high-stakes situations, so it's going to have an effect. Yeah,
absolutely. And when you can run for the highlights as well, you can see kind of just where, and this round in particular is exactly where it all flipped in favor of Guatemala. They find that quite fortunate double kill, and there's actually a third that happens simultaneously. Breaks the econ, makes them panic. They go for a low buy, which is the right call, but they go aggressive, and all falls apart there. So for Guatemala, for them, I think you're right. We're heading towards Mirage. And we look at this as a really decent opportunity for Guatemala coming in towards this one to potentially even lay down the law a little bit more. I think we had both quite a solid T and CT side out from them. There didn't really seem to be a huge amount of weaknesses. And while Costa Rica were terrible, right? They had their moments. It was just the inconsistencies of their moments. And you can even see it at the scoreboard as well. BJM, 17 kills, 16 as well for JBC, and it does tail off a little bit. Whereas for the most part, bar Anti, everybody had a really good game towards Guatemala.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. Again, just kind of speaks into that line that we're giving them, that they should be an individually sort of better team, and I think they definitely showed that. The scores reflect it here. A few low death counts as well, which one of the things on the Costa Rican side is they were sort of dying in a lot of the rounds, even rounds that they were maybe winning. I think quite a few of them ended up going down. So it again just sort of speaks to these end round moments where it comes down to a bit of an overface from a couple of the Guatemalan players, but it did feel in the tighten up in the big rounds where it's like, okay, we got to win this one. It sort of matters. It could be a break of the bank if we get it cleanly. Those types of caveats ahead of a round seem to have an effect on the game for Guatemala. So I think it's definitely an interesting one here. If they can just wrap that up a little bit, then maybe they could have, already solidified their spot, already got themselves a clean sort of finish here. But,
True.
Of course, it is all conjecture. We don't know how this Mirage is going to go down. It's been very, very wacky from Guatemala in particular. Costa Rica maybe a bit cleaner from them with the victory yesterday against Ecuador. We're going to take a break here, folks. When we're back, Mirage on your screens. Hello, everybody. Welcome back in. First map going the way of Guatemala. A clean finish from them. Certainly a little closer when it comes down to the scorelines, but they will take their own map pick. They look good while doing so. Now we move on to this Mirage, which both teams have indeed played out. Guatemala actually a couple of times. Same for Costa Rica. Both of them losing it out to Canada. And Guatemala are actually losing it out to Ecuador, which is sort of the big deal. And we've looked at that, we've analysed that, and we saw Costa Rica. They take it against Ecuador. So it looks like, in theory, given the science, it should be a better map here for Costa Rica than Guatemala. But in terms of where the matchup's gone on that first map, I do feel that Guatemala, although it was close, felt like they were never really down and out on that map.
Yeah, it never really felt, for the most part. I mean, basically at any point, the Guatemala were on the back foot, and I think that's always the thing. It was always Costa Rica playing catch up for me, and in that instance, I think that's probably where we look at this coming towards map number 2, even though it's not the greatest of maps from what we've seen out from Guatemala in the past, that they might have a chance. They started on the CT side, and normally this would worry me, but the CT side was pretty clean at the end there, so I really don't have a lot of complaints. I'm interested to see how things change. It's a quick play towards A, though. Hello. Costa Rica are just straight out towards the site, one smoke towards jungle, and a contact play, and they got a bomb down before Guatemala have even seen a person.
Yeah, a wild sort of game state here. There's a lot of deep window control coming in as well from Costa Rica, so potentially looking towards CT to be the main avenue of attack. Got to be careful that not too many go down, but both those Windows players will indeed fall. However, smoking a kit on the bomb might be the way to do it. Anti being held off for. They've got to get him off it, and unfortunately they cannot. Oh my goodness, that's a hell of a hold comes round from Mitties in particular. The defuse in the smoke, absolutely huge.
I really didn't think they had a chance there. We got a jungle smoke come down. Costa Rica got the bomb down so quickly. And the fact that somehow, some way, Guatemala are walking away with a round there is massive. Really well played for them. Of course, with that pretty quick round, and of course the bomb plant, the kills that come through, Costa Rica will be buying back in towards this, but so will Guatemala. We see a triple FAMAS, 1 MP9, 1 M4 by one of those FAMASs is completely caught in no man's land. Stage down early.
Nice pick up on the MP9. JBC traded back, so decent position for Guatemala to be in. The issue with Lighter finding that first kill is it leaves him low. So Quite like the position here for Guatemala, but Costa Rica still got these Galils in motion. It's about all they have to work with. No smokes, just the one flash, right? It's going to be really hard to find space to get this bomb down. But the A site still feels pretty weak for me, so
sure,
we'll see. I would say Timon's got to be careful. Whether he has that wherewithal is another question entirely.
Yeah, I think you're true. I mean, moving out here, and we're going to get a lot of space. That in itself isn't bad. We've got a double over towards B, who are now starting to make a move in towards short. Window player who just is completely caught off guard by the possibility of a contact play. Second time now, in all fairness, and we have seen a contact play, a really messy fight that gets taken in Rainmaker's favor, and Mitis going to get gifted a kill as well. 2v2, Rainmaker's low, but not exactly impossible. Smoke actually goes a little bit too far there as well. But it could work in Mata's favor in a sense. It looks like a smoke towards Underwood. They might overlook that Palace player.
It is possible. Tap onto the bomb. Clean from Mata. And of course, Rainmaker no HP to make it work. Costa Rica with a big steal. It seems that these teams really do struggle with the follow-up second rounds. Although, in all fairness to Guatemala, felt like the Costa Rica buy was potentially better than theirs, you know, or at least competing. Give them that force buy. So.
Yeah, all right. It's one of those as well where for Guatemala, I mean, we're playing... It looks like they just get, again, caught off guard by what is ultimately quite a simple play from Costa Rica. They just walk out on towards A. Second time they done it. Did it on the pistol round. Nobody was there. They did it in this force by round. Same thing again. Nobody there. Double towards B. One towards short. And the first fight that even gets found as well is mid-aggression with... you know, ease that comes through. I mean, Costa Rica just flying towards the fight, and one guy gets caught completely off the rip. Like Guatemala, the issue for me is that they're just stunned by some of the things that should be generally seen as relatively simple. That's a nice find there for Rainmaker for the first. Maybe even a second, but he's get caught in the trade.
Oh, getting messy out here. BGM comes through with 2. That might just solidify things. 5-7. Oh, difficult fight. Difficult fight. Maybe should have had that kill. The nade will finish him off. It's all down to Ante. They know where he's at. He could definitely take another name here on this Deagle, so they've got to give him the respect. But they're not. Oh, my.
Oh, no,
Oh,
fellas.
my. Okay. He was the low HP player that I'd thought might go down, but still, 1v2, Ante creeping in. Flash comes over, gives himself away. Not loads of time here. Knows there's a player to round triple, but just can't pin him down. XYZ redeems himself there as he finishes it.
Oh, my. For a moment, it looked like it could be... I mean, maybe not a possibility, if I'm being completely honest, but they've made it more expensive, I think, than probably Costa Rica would have wanted. It goes down to 2 at the tail end, so that alone is something in itself, but Guatemala can't bring anything in towards this round. Costa Rica should get up to a third without too much of an issue. But, yeah, just shows using that force buy back in response of how it's hurt Guatemala. Once again, Rainmaker. Somebody just getting caught in towards mid. It just seems to be an issue for Guatemala where I don't think they understand the timing of the peaks in towards top mid. They can get there very quickly. You can't be dilly-dallying and messing around there. They are going to catch you off guard and you're going to be full blind.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Looking very, very good from Costa Rica to begin with, though. No real contest since winning out that force buy. Still only early days and early steps, but this is looking dangerous. Mata will manage to survive there and keeps it going. So rolling through the frags. Just Ante and Mitters remaining. There's a clean headshot out from Ante. Anything more than that, I think they'd be very happy on the Guatemala side.
Yeah, I think you're right. Maybe in towards the bottom con. I say that. Nah, Mitters will fall. BGM might get a second as well. He does actually drop off, but thankfully JBC is there to bail him out. 3-1 in favor of Costa Rica on their map pick. Looking pretty good. All in all, I don't think there's too many complaints so far. But for Guatemala, first true buy for them back out off the back of the losing the force and the rest. So we get to see what they're like. As Stage pulls out his AWP. On the CT side, he was pretty good with it as well. Played a lot through A-Tempo and looked very solid. First fight is very good. Timmy gets caught on the cross as Mata had a, he had a wealth of time. So I said that fine, he does well. Nade tags down Stage and Molotov will come behind it and it forces him away.
Mitters eats a bit of a grenade as well, so Costa Rica in a really good spot right now. Maybe going to fake things out on A by the looks of it. And give the B bomb site a go, but we'll see here. It seems like it might work, even just by virtue of Guatemala having to guess correctly with the resources. Yeah, smoke goes down. Second one to back it up. Now, if you're really on it, usually these smokes come in together. And they have come through separately, right? So there's a bit of a giveaway there, but we'll see. The B-bomb site for a moment is weaker defended. Rainmaker does well for 2, and in comes Mitters. They thought they'd sold it. Not the case. Still loads of time to get this 2 versus 2 working, however. That lurking player on A also managed to find a kill. Mitters will be kicking himself that he could not convert that. Just down to Stage. 3 HP, the name of the game. 1 versus 1 now as he gets that catch. Up towards short. Bomb. No rush on going down. And Stage, no rush on getting close to the action.
Oh my. JBC holding Stage. Where are we trying to go here? 3 points of HP and a HE to work with as well. Oh, I feel like JBC might have the right idea, but timing might have eluded him. But he's posted up on a good cross. Holding towards get right, and Stage is going straight into the trap. Beautiful setup from JBC. It's an open angle for him to be playing from, but he just realizes there's only really one place Stage can come from as Costa Rica put up another round on the board. And once again now starting to showcase just how good they are on this map. And I think, reaffirming the ideas that we had, this is not a great one for Guatemala on that CT side. It was a big issue yesterday. They get caught off guard a hell of a lot. And there's so many times in which things fall flat for them. I feel like they don't have those timings down to a T, especially those early mid peaks. They seem very all over the place with Guatemala, where at least they're getting chunked by nades at a bare minimum, or more often than not, losing their life. Flash in towards ramp is good. The execution from Anti isn't.
Okay, Rainmaker spams away to get a return frag, though, so just keep your eyes on these pistols. They've got armor dotted in here as well, so rifle makes it into the right hands. It could be a big, big deal. Player out in sandwich is a bit weird. He's just chilling. Will go rolling in. Gets 1, but traded. And again, heavily isolated, right? A solo move. 3 versus 3. No need for Guatemala to give up different areas of the map. However, they've still got 1 dotted in, 1 dotted in, and 1 dotted in, right? It's not the nicest looking setup for my money. They will start to try and group together in towards the B-bomb site, which would be the correct call. They've got a good idea here because Timon, he's pushed through A.
Rainmaker, Deagle, holding. I get a chance it. He's got his teammate holding for the cross, but he misses his opportunity. Rainmaker doesn't, though. Finds 2. Oh, hang on a second. Surely the Deagles aren't going to be walking away with all 3. Rainmaker. That is a beautiful little 3K at that tail end. All 3 isolated, and they don't once even realize Costa Rica where he is. They were so hard focused on the player towards shore, and he gets away with it. Really nicely done. And in doing so, a second run on the board for Guatemala. They needed that. A low buy for them. They looked like they were in trouble and bails them out. Beautiful stuff, considering it was a low buy. That might be a bit of a catalyst to work for Guatemala. Might get them going a little bit on towards this CT side. I probably would say I'd need at least sort of 5 or 6 from Guatemala to be somewhat comfortable. Oh, at least 5 to be a sort of a bare minimum.
All right, let's see. Out towards B fast. Rainmaker, good for 1s. A bit of assistance in for the AWP here from short. BJM, though, danger man. He's retrieved an AK. Going to make it work for 1. It's not quite enough. Not enough support there. Guatemala, although they didn't look super prepared for the B rush, they will manage to survive it. That superior weaponry and just the fact that Rainmaker is able to stay alive, making a big difference. He continues to be the strongest player, not only on the team, but on the server by a fair margin. So maybe need a little bit of support to come his way if Guatemala are to keep the CT side going.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so for now, only a one-round game. A reinvestment back in for Costa Rica, of course, but lose this round, and they're going to be in a little bit of trouble. Moving on a ramp, XYZ tries to go for a contact play himself, which has worked in the past. This time not to be, and JBC going to get caught through the smoke.
Could be a big deal. Could be a big deal. Stage left low from it, but we'll see. It is holding here from short. A little bit of an off angle for him. Flash comes over the top. Timon goes down. It's a good info mission, but they just have to be careful not to lose anyone else, right? It's not necessarily like they needed that. All the same, looking good. Costa Rica a little caught out. Not really sure where to go. I believe they've got one up in the window now, and of course rotation around, so we'll see. Looking to get a crunch onto B, I guess. Getting out of window is going to be the next task, however, for this player that's up there. BJM in a decent spot. Rainmaker though, oh goodness, that is awkward. Thank goodness for the team kill. Saves him from complete embarrassment. Not quite sure what's happened to him there. Maybe thinking of getting a few more, but then going for it, and then, you know, just hard panic. But it's BJM in behind, with all this distraction going down, that's pulled it into a 1 versus 2 in favor of Costa Rica.
Yeah, this is a bad situation for Guatemala. I mean, that fight was nothing short of awful, I guess. I mean, like you said, if it wasn't for the team kill, it really would be pretty horrible. I mean, Mitter's trying to bait out fights here. It doesn't work like that. You've got to get proactive, and he does. BJM, though, do we need to be open? Did we need to have nades in hand? I don't think so. It's giving Mitters a chance here. Doesn't have any util. That's the only issue. Where is this guy? As Mata is not going to give him a fight. He's now picked up a Molotov. Aptly placed as it goes towards Firebox. He does damage. Now knows on towards backside, dropping down. Time is of the essence. Tap on towards the bomb as well, but it's going to be Matas who sees it off. My God. Let's be real, Guatemala should never be losing that round. That's a bad one. I mean, if we have the replay, I want to look at that fight again because it's so awkward in towards kitchen. I mean, it never should be happening right here.
Yeah.
Oh, it's tough, isn't it?
Kind of crazy, man. I really don't know what got a hold of him. You know, he had the drop on one, and then he maybe gets traded, and that's kind of okay. But I think what ends up happening, what it looked like to me, is maybe just the carnage in the comms.
Yeah.
Maybe he sort of fills them with fluff, you know, not important information necessarily. Not sure, because it also fell apart in at the window, right? That was kind of the big thing. The moment up there wasn't the end of the world because of the team kill, you know? So it kind of was a one and done. It was more BJM in window just completely surprising them. It's crazy.
It's true. All right. For Guatemala, I mean, we've had attack pause there and a moment to converse. I think it's something that is pretty desperately needed for them. Still, this CT side sort of eludes them a little bit. One thing I will say, that the T side did look a little bit better when we caught them. Maybe if they can get up to like 5 rounds CT side, it might be semi-workable. I think anything less and they could be in a bit of trouble. Bomb. Looks like he wants to contact towards A here. Smoke going to come over towards jungle. Molotov going to come down as well in response towards ramp to slow them down here.
BJM looking to be the entry in on this A bomb site. It's a little bit messy, but taking those heads-up fights is going to go well for Costa Rica. They overwhelm. A big, big deal as Guatemala needed this round ultimately to stay in proceedings in the first half. They're going to have to concede it, save this AWP in particular into the next. Maybe the MP9 looks for a fight, but no, he's around to help his homeboy take the AWP into the next. He's kind of being forced into a fight, though. Nade down, clean swing. And he will win one, but they're now after them.
Yeah, the hunting here. I think it's the right call to hunt as well. Even though their money's a little bit shaky in a sense for Costa Rica, they're going to have funds off the back of winning this round and the bomb plant. So they're not in a massive worry themselves. And the thought process of, denying an AK being picked up, which I would assume Mitters should go for. And, of course, the AWP staying alive too. He will get it, which is good for Mitters. That's a little silver lining, but yeah, another round where, so for me, there's two kind of glaring issues. I think the timing on the fight is really awkward for Guatemala, but the main problem is none of them fight together. It's three guys on towards that site. You got one playing in towards underbag, you got one playing back default, and another over towards CT. All three of them, nobody trades, nobody fights together, nobody plays off each other in a crossfire. If you have an underbag player and a default player, the underbag player shouldn't be peeking. It should be the default player peeking over towards that left-hand side who baits them in towards the bulk player. But yeah, they never fight together. And this is the issue that we had yesterday with Guatemala on the CT side. They always play alone. And it gives so many opportunities for the T side who are against them to just isolate fights.
Timon working in close. Could have got a catch there. Just not quite in on the timing. It's time to break up a little bit, isn't it? Timon's full spent. Anti's full spent. The rest of the team hasn't. So it's getting a bit weird for Guatemala. Again, maybe speaks to them needing to do something in this round then, whether it is, save the majority or whether it is put up the defense. Now, looks to be an A hit. It looks like Guatemala are ready for this.
GM, that first. Anti. As he falls. Looks like another team kill comes through. Costa Rica, that's like their third? In just this map alone. But another one which ultimately doesn't actually end up punishing them. They've had 3 team kills, none of which have actually ever punished Costa Rica. Bar, I guess a little bit extra to the econ. Mitters will escape with an AK in hand. Another round going the way of the T side, however. And now Guatemala needs to be flawless in this last 2 if they want to hit my bare minimum sort of threshold of 5-round CT side, like I said. But I don't know if that's even going to happen. Guatemala really do not look comfortable here at all.
Nah, for sure, man. For sure. It is spiraling a little bit. And like I say, I think the sort of mental game, the communication game is also becoming problematic. Again, we'll see what happens. They have had sort of T sides that have brought a bit of something. That was more in the Ecuador game. Yeah, it's difficult to say, but I am interested to see how it goes. They're obviously going to need a foundation to work with, a cushion to work with. Mm-hmm. They do manage to just about get a buy going here with some drops and whatnot coming across, but still felt a bit shaky, the decision-making in the previous.
Well. What do we got? Oh my god, Mitters is a lucky man to stay alive. One more bullet and he was dead. Stage gonna get one above that smoke, which is good. He actually gets away, life intact. Later gonna make a move around this smoke, expecting some aggression, but so far not gonna be given. Stage doubles back in towards window and now can hold for the cross in towards cat if they want to make a move.
Stage with the AWP. Is trained in. Ooh, did Timon spot the shadow there? I don't think so. Lighter flies around to try and find the frag. Does not happen. So, still looking good for Guatemala here. Not lost any players as yet. They know what's up. They got a lock in for this round. Nobody going down. Jump spot doesn't really get anything. Smoke goes down. Rainmaker might act upon it, but opts not to do so. They're going to go for a boost on the sight box. Deep nade could do a lot here. And it even finds a frag. Yeah, definitely saw that happening. So Costa Rica down to just 2. Rainmaker holding mouse 1. While blind, will get it going. And he doesn't even need a teammate on the B-bomb site, it would seem.
Rainmaker again. Hey, at least on an individual basis, he has been incredible. 15 kills to his name. He's looking really solid. It's just the rest of the team who need to kind of catch up to him. Makes you think if he was playing anchoring towards A, if things would change there, because he has been so solid. So damn solid. 7-4. Guatemala that is a small positive that they'll take, absolutely. The final round of this half, the buy is a little janky for Costa Rica too. We've got a deagle out for XYZ, we've got a Mac 10 and a double Galil. So potentially an opportunity to get that fifth, that bare minimum I asked for. Fight behind that smoke. Mata going to get the first as Timon gets caught off guard again. He's in no way to put it, a pretty poor map so far.
Anti up close in the ramp area. Maybe trying to be the hero. It is another solo execute coming in. This time feels a bit faster, but I think, once again, you can see there's not much movement from Guatemala. It's maybe a bit of an interesting sort of fake out that Costa Rica could make work with that. All the same, not going to happen in this moment. 4v3, as it may well have fallen apart at the seams here. BJM, XYZ, the only two that remain.
Anti. She's going to move back over towards default. XYZ and BJM got a lot to do in this round. It's not a good start as BJM going to get caught. XYZ now with it all to do. 1v4. The deny Guatemala getting this at fifth. It feels unlikely. That's pretty safe to say. I think if he spotted as well, it's going to make his life all the more hard. Downhill fall. To the hands of Anti, 7-5. Honestly, a fairly decent recovery at the end there. I think we'll take the small positives. A really good round. A really good half, may I say, coming out from Rainmaker on an individual basis. 15 kills to his name. Looked very clean every time they tested B. On the other side, BGM leading the charge alongside Mata, who both had really good moments. But for Costa Rica, a small lead. But Guatemala finding a bit of form at the tail end of the half. And obviously us knowing that T-sides is where it feels like they do their best work. May still be a chance. If I had a pistol here, who knows?
All right, let's see, man. This is getting a little interesting for sure. Tail end pickup is something that Guatemala have been quite good at across the course of all 3 days. Barreling on in. Julie's going to reveal themselves. There is one that comes round from CT. But the kills seem to be going the way of the T side here. They're so very low, though. This could all fade in just a second. And it looks like it will. Rainmaker, 1 versus 3. Knows there's another one in at CT. Does he have all the info here? Seems like he might. He's grabbing that bomb. Trying to get away. JBC needed that headshot. 1 HP the difference. Rainmaker, again, just gets a bit panicked in the high-tension moments.
Yeah, I think also another pretty decent instance and showing of where Guatemala just don't play for each other. They go out towards the site, which is, pretty decent, but it's another round which felt decent off the rip. They get on towards Ram, they get the control on towards A, and then they stutter for just a brief moment, and it's enough for Costa Rica to rotate over and play for their numbers. Hold on, and yeah, Guatemala can't buy here. It's a big nade as well. Rainmaker takes a lot of damage. But this one, unfortunately, is a bit of a non-starter, so it should be 9-5 towards Costa Rica in just a moment.
Yeah, we'll see. This is going to get difficult. Going to get very, very difficult for Guatemala. They've managed to get some control in the connector, which could result in a nasty kill. Some good damage there from the Glock. XYZ left very, very low, but no kill, which is ultimately what they are after. Catch off for this con player is all I'm looking at, really. He's trying to thread the needle and get a kill. Not going to happen. They were somewhat set up to deal with him. Deagle does get 1, but he's left on 14 HP, and he's, of course, by himself now. So, no more. He will fall. Costa Rica moving up to 9, threatening the map now with this next rifle all to play for.
Yeah, and it does put a lot of pressure on Guatemala here, saying, right, if we lose this one, we're talking about, Costa Rica basically getting up towards 11 at that point, probably saying GG in that sense. I mean, that is the simplicity of it. Will be so close where Costa Rica can sort of just stumble across the line, in all fairness. So Guatemala, this gun round, against the bonus of Costa Rica, does need to find a lot of form here. It's an open play. an M4, but a triple FAMAS is feasible, workable for Guatemala to find success. The Molotov will catch Timon, so his position known. They're going to go quick towards B. That's a wild call, but XYZ misses his nade.
All over the place right now. XYZ will go down. Not ideal here. Nice drop down as well as BJM can't make it work. And this is the Guatemala that we have seen in a number of rounds. The explosiveness, the individuality, able to pull them through this one. Again, damage taken. Could certainly swing. But Costa Rica, nothing they can do about this, and they know it.
Okay. It's just a call that they sort of have to make here. They know that they really cannot afford to be sticking around. You know, you've got, in terms of their leftover funds, they really just don't have a hell of a lot in the back pockets. They can't afford to stick around in this instance. It's going to be Guatemala with a pretty convincing T-side round all in all, but I think there's one thing in particular for me. You hate to kind of isolate a guy in that situation, but XYZ, two kills lined up. And in both instances, gets caught with Utah in hand. First, the nade banks off the wall in the panic. The second time, again, has a smoke out trying to drop it over to his balcony, which ultimately cost him his life in that situation. I think if we do have the replay, you can sort of see it where it's two separate fights that probably should have gone his way, as he fell back in the right place. He just didn't have his gun out. And if he did, probably would have been able to get at least one, if not both of those kills. And that would have been probably a completely different round. But let's talk about hindsight. It's still a pretty healthy lead for Costa Rica nonetheless, but I don't know if we want to force it is the issue. Yes, we got 2 saved, but I think you'd probably rather keep on of what you've got. The issue is, though, Lighter is double eco. So if he is to fall and that AK isn't saved, he's probably only going to have like an MP9 at the very least. I mean, and even that might be a little concerning. But it looks like we're going to go for a half buy here for Costa Rica around what is saved. So an AK, M4, 1 kit, and just a few upgraded pistols to work with. And in terms of utility, just 1 flash, 1 smoke. Not expecting a hell of a lot.
No, indeed. Not loads and loads here. But we'll see. This could be the kind of round that you get away with. JBC spamming away. Does find a kill in towards short. That maybe starts to confirm that they're moving around here. Unfortunately, they're going B. That's the lesser defender bomb site. I like what Costa Rica do with the resources, but they guess wrong, right? And it's going to make a difference. Unfortunately, not much in it. They will be buying into the next. I'd still go for the save. Play that safe game, especially now BJM has managed to get away with a gun as well. Yeah, he definitely will. They're not really giving him the fight. So, keen save. Costa Rica not messing around here. We've not seen a lot of the teams in either of the qualifiers go for many saves at all, to be honest.
True.
So, I do like the idea of it, and indeed, they are playing to win.
Yeah, I like this call. I think for Costa Rica, this is a pretty heads-up play, right? It's a long-term outlook in the situation that they're in. 2 rounds of difference, however. Game is starting to open up a tad. Still feels, you know, pretty comfortable, I think, for the most part for Costa Rica, at least for now. But lose this next round, and that will absolutely change the narrative. That's when things are going to start to look at least pretty good for Guatemala. And we already spoke about this on a numerous amount of occasions where this is Guatemala on their favored side. They do their best work on the T side, and they're showcasing it now. This is where they do look the most comfortable. And for Costa Rica, at least at the moment, they're looking pretty on edge. 2 rounds game. But a buy back in. If Costa Rica lose this, they're in trouble.
Ooh, Timon will go down pretty early. They're trying for the quick B once again. It's sort of desperate. See if they can get away with it. It's the smoke play towards short, though. Mid completely open, and they get away with absolute murder because of it. Lighter forced backwards. Hello. What is that? The reactionary shot of a lifetime. Might just pull them through into this round. We'll see. Late here from Mata, who had maybe started to think about the save. This is what happens when it gets into your system. It can be difficult to move away from. They're pretty late in. Not feeling super confident. The next exchange would be, indeed, the round deciding moment. Mata takes one on his way out, but not going to be able to save the day. So here we are, 9-8, looking very scary now, Guatemala.
Yeah, this is a wild spot that we're in. Only the one safe over towards Costa Rica. I mean, at the very least, it's an AWP, which you'll take every day of the week, but it's still a crazy spot. Like you said, you know, mid completely open there, so they can just sort of barrel in, right? They get a lot of coverage to work with. That tap is, bellissimo. Absolutely bellissimo, but it still doesn't make a big difference in the end. Lighters does fall basically immediately off the rip. One-run game. Very exciting spot they're in at the moment. This is pretty wild. Guatemala, they are relentless in their aggression, and it's working.
Mittis has heard some footsteps here down below, so got an idea to try and net this first frag. Guatemala slowing things down. Rainmaker, how has he gotten in here? The mid area, again, continues to be a problem for Costa Rica. Guatemala looking to not mess around and try and go for a quick B. Once again, the AWP is gifted. But BGM, got to be watched for. Oh, there's the player with the MP9 at the back end of the site as well. It is all over the place right now. Bomb plant denied away. Stage staying strong, however. They know where the last man is. Just play it patient. He steps out, and Guatemala have evened it up in what feels like record time.
Yeah.
Costa Rica are shaking in their boots right now.
Yeah, this is not looking good. I mean, maybe not this round, but in the next, I wouldn't mind seeing Costa Rica call for a pause before we get there. Just pump the brakes for a tad, because this is it's a really dicey spot that we're in. Not going to be able to buy in towards this one. Guatemala should take a lead. It should be a 10th on the board for them without too much hassle, I say, in loose quotation marks. But I mean, these pistols with even armor being a luxury that only 2 can afford, I can't see this one being taken. We do have a Zeus out in play, however, for matter. So maybe, just maybe. It's not always cleared, this position.
It's true.
Ooh, no.
Guatemala, I think. Oh, not pulling any punches. So it doesn't matter, mate. It doesn't. You activate him, and you see what happens. You know, mess around, find out kind of vibe. XYZ comes around with a kill. Oh, running out of ammo. Anti's forced down to the Glock. With the CZ, also a short magazine. Will eventually get finished off. JBC coming in from ramp. Not going to be expected. Reveals himself. Can't quite net the frag. Should have had that one, he says. Guatemala, though, taking the lead. Taking the double digits. Looking down for this 2-0 and to lock their spot in the semi-finals.
Yeah, for sure. Getting ever closer now for Guatemala. My God, I mean, this gun round is of the utmost importance for Costa Rica. We lose this, we're talking about Guatemala taking map and series and playoff point as well. If our margins get basically only as close as that, crazy position again where when it felt like they were completely down and out for the count, look where we are now. GM, posted, does get gifted that one, so does XYZ, gets 2. Oh, maybe Guatemala just a little bit too quick.
Very, very possible here. We'll see. 5-on-2. Looking very good. Mittis trying to do some damage in from short. Does net a double. If I knew there was a bit of support in there. BJM not only has dropped his teammate, but also that bomb. So he's going to have to get around here. They're ready for him, but XYZ gets caught. Mittis keeping the dream alive. Pulls the nade out. The peak surely has to come in from JBC. Waited long enough. It's good damage done, though. It is very good damage. So this next round is going to be really important for Costa Rica.
Yeah, no, it's true. Oh my, Costa Rica are kept afloat. XYZ, nice little double in towards short. The AWP gets the first as well, just to hold them. Though, I think in that instance, Guatemala just too happy to fight because it's been pretty plain sailing on this seaside up until this point. Their sort of thought process is, well, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And they want to go back in towards fight off the rip. This will make it expensive, I think is the main thing. Round is around, and that's all that Costa Rica care about. And they needed that to keep alive and keep afloat in this series. And like I said, because it's expensive, it's still a big reinvestment coming through for them, where there still is long-term econ over towards Guatemala. Rainmaker again. continues to be so difficult to deal with. 23 and 12.
Yeah, man. Huge. Absolutely huge. You got to keep an eye on the kill feed. If he goes down early, you know, across the map or something like that, it's going to have a dire effect. Boost up in the window is what they've gone for here. He's not being considered at all. They feel like they're here in good enough time. Smoke's going to go down. It's a game of chicken, really. Oh, just on top of each other. Rainmaker, unfortunately, not ready. Might be enough, though. Info gathered. Kill for the AWP is a really big deal. That comes in outside of Palace, it looks like. So we'll see here. Guatemala trying to move fast. Ooh, we'll see. Bomb goes down at Tetris. They just got to be careful. It was a nice kill, but not necessarily one that you can, you know, burst upon. It's a very panicked round from both sides. Mitter's got to check his angles here. Barrel spotted. JBC gets so lucky as he turned away. Mitter's checked the wrong side. Oh my goodness. Bomb's been retrieved, but man advantage has been lost. 20 seconds remain. The AWP trained in, hoping that someone walks into his crosshair here. It's not going to happen. Slow encroachment coming in. 10 seconds to get this bomb down now. Boost up is not expected at all. Bomb plant will go down just about. And Costa Rica with a big win to give themselves 11. Again, Guatemala, you know, set up so nicely, but you have to admit some unlucky moments. Still, the rush towards A is a little overzealous.
Yeah, exactly. Especially after this opening kill. Rainmaker finds the first to give them a lot of coverage. And then another instance where you've seen this a couple of times where for Guatemala, we're fighting one by one. Not a single engagement taken in that entire round for all 5 of Guatemala are taken together. They fight as individuals, whereas these Costa Rica are playing off the back of each other. Tough. It's really tough to watch because it's something that has just been a problem all the way through. Never fight together, and it's so damn costly. Stage and Rainmaker barreling in now as well. Molotov going to go towards back triple. Rainmaker still so difficult to break down. And a quick round out of Guatemala. This could be enough.
Yeah, getting him in the pack now, I suppose. Getting him with the squad, right? So they can try and use his numbers and his proficiency to its best ability. We shall see. Nades coming in. No one over at Firebox, unfortunately. The AWP a little late to the party. A deep position here for Rainmaker. Puts him in a very good spot. Gives him good information as well. Swing coming round. It's a 2-man move. Tap onto the bomb. Not going to be the hold. Stage will stand strong. It is matter to save this AWP. And even then, Rainmaker's the one that makes the decision as to whether he will be able to do so. On the way he is. 6 feet under, he will end up. So, yes, the save comes across, but Guatemala right back on the board. It is classic from them to find the energy right at the end of play.
True. Now we're getting the full 24 here, at the very least. And like you said, right in the pack there, just trying to stick together as a group. And my, oh my, it has worked out. At least some sort of positivity for them. And you know, they've given themselves the chance, again, are still taking this in their favor. It's going to be a weird one, though. I look at this still with at least open eyes for over towards Costa Rica. You know, they're going to have at least something to work with that AWP staying alive. They're going to have a buy around it, which is the main thing. However, this does feel like a pretty important one. Costa Rica, you lose this, your economy's broken. So it is very much in that now or never sort of territory.
Absolutely. Most important round of the series so far for both of these teams. But maybe more so Costa Rica. They don't have that fail-safe. It's that jump that's been heard, I think. They have an idea then that there's a couple in towards middle. Matter. Trained in. Just moves off. The nade distracts him as they work their way in towards Con. It's a bit weird because I don't know that he'll necessarily be expected now. So we'll see. Deep position here for Guatemala to work with, but there it is, the AWP. He strikes. He can always go back. Molotov comes in to force him away, and he tries to give it a go. He loses his life, and the advantage has swung in favor of Guatemala before this bomb goes down.
Molotov will come down pretty nicely timed by Anti there too. allows this bomb to be planted. Tim are going to find JBC. That's a big scalp to connect with as well. Oh my. I think we could be tempted to save here for Costa Rica. Let's be perfectly honest. Their money is not in the nicest spot. And even Guatemala, you've got to go for a hunt here. The hunt could be the thing that maybe even wins you the next round too.
Yeah, we'll see, man. BJM for now surviving. They are indeed looking to get on it. Money's not perfect, to be fair. So, do have to make this work. But if they do, it would be absolutely massive. BJM just spotted out. I think that might have been a mini-map spot, to be honest with you.
Big.
I don't know that he necessarily stuck out massively. But yeah, XYZ also falling is huge here. You can see the money in the toilet.
Yes, absolutely. This is dicey, to say the least. I mean, we've got Costa Rica coming towards this next round. We're probably... I mean, maybe even some of them having FAMASs. They've got loss bonus, I think, is probably a main thing. I think by this point it'd be like 2.9k, but even then, I don't know how confident I'm feeling about Costa Rica's buy-in towards this. They needed at least one rifle to stay alive as a small failsafe. And yeah, exactly as predicted, right? FAMASs, MP9s, they needed that one rifle. And by saving one rifle, it meant there would have been money to probably drop over another rifle. So it's a bit like a 2-for-1 special. But it just shows how important that hunt is. And because for Guatemala, you win that round, you give yourself about 4 grand to work with. So it's worthwhile for the hunt for you. And about like 2k left in the back pockets. They're always going to guarantee a solid enough buy. However, BGM has pushed all the way through Palace. And he spotted nothing.
Yeah, weird situation. He's now spotted the bomb. And not ready for this at all, are they? AK is up, but yeah, BJM plays it well, plays it calm, and a big oversight from Guatemala, man. Last round is what they wanted this to be. It's going to be a different story, though, it looks like. BJM keeps them coming, and he's pulling us through to the overtime, I would imagine. 2 HP for stage. Only 2 players remaining. It's not going to be enough for Guatemala. This would be absolutely wild if they can pull it back. Mitt is getting close to the action. Stage going to get caught here. Absolutely. Yeah, back turn. Doesn't matter whether he's got 2 or 100. He goes down, and Costa Rica maybe getting a bit lucky with it. Guatemala, however, should not have let that happen, at least so easily.
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple mistakes there that are worth mentioning. I mean, the bomb just being left, I don't think it's the most egregious thing in the world, but if you're going to leave the bomb, you need to have some sort of contingency plan of right, if we're going to go and get it, we've left such a length of time here. They could have easily just shift walked it all the way through ramp. We have no A presence at all. And this is the issue. If you're going to leave the bomb, expose somebody near spawn, you need somebody having some sort of A presence to stop them just walking all the way through Palace or walking all the way through ramp without at least going for some sort of contact play. At least if you have somebody over towards ramp who's like sort of fighting, maybe a bit of Utah being dropped, the first thought if somebody is to push through Palace is actually to wrap in towards ramp and get that kill. And then you'll know, okay, right, we need to be careful on going at the bomb. And then when they go back and collect the bomb, they just let them isolate. It's the same thing I say, it seems in a lot of rounds of Guatemala. Time and time again, they fight as individuals. They don't fight together. If you're going to recollect the bomb there, you have no idea where he's set up. There's 3 players there, 1 in towards apartments, 2 over towards top mid, and all 3 of them fight one by one. Not a single one of them fight together. Another small issue that Guatemala definitely need to fix if they are to head through in towards tomorrow's game. But, of course, with now going towards overtime, it is definitely up in the air. That's a bad one to let slip. Costa Rica, credit to them. A low buy, a buy with MP9s and FAMASs, and they make it work.
Rainmaker getting aggressive here out towards ramp. They've heard him, they know about him. Nades come raining in to try and facilitate a kill potentially, but no, there's not much of a follow-up on the back of it. Will be the execute rolling in here. Player in at sandwich could get overlooked again in a round like this, and Lighter nets 2. Big deal for Costa Rica, giving them a pretty nice position on A. No real in-depth moves at the moment for Guatemala. The AWP as well, trained on connector. Surely got to find this frag, but no, he's dipped away a little bit into the window room. So Timon, with almost perfect timing, has crept in here.
Rainmaker trying to make a move himself as well. Oh my god, yeah, he will fall. Takes a dink, falls on the back of it. The AWP finally gets that kill as well. And it's actually a near flawless one out from Costa Rica. One in which a similar vein, and I hate to, you know, be a kind of a parrot here and just repeating it, but fights just taken one by one. And they get picked off by Costa Rica. I think Costa Rica are really starting to figure this out now as well, aren't they? They're realizing that Guatemala aren't playing together. So as long as they stay guns up and wait and just basically hold angles, they're going to walk into them. Tough. Guatemala's best rounds have come when they've gone for these big B pops, these executes as a group, because they know they can overwhelm. They haven't gone for one of those in a while.
Rainmaker trying to contact out towards middle, but there's an AWP. On the other side of this, footsteps heard. Rainmaker had to convert that trade, and he doesn't. Big deal for Costa Rica. Absolutely massive, in fact. They will be very, very happy with a clean opener like that they can walk away from.
JBC. Should get caught by the AWP, but he actually only gets tagged. Ooh, hello. Maybe still a chance for Guatemala, who look like they're floundering a little bit. They've fallen very flat, but decent damage dealt towards two players now. Matters low, JBC tagged as well. Only issue is they had the angle towards CT in their favor, and they pulled off it. However, there's a fake being sold here over towards B, and it might actually just work. Hot flashing towards short. It's drawn away the AWP as well, and now they're dropping down in towards B. They're pushing on a ramp, and they're not spotting anybody here.
Yeah, problematic for sure. We'll see, though. There's still a bit of presence in from the A players. It's all onto this timing, right? Full cell downstairs. Could be big. Bomb. Still not spotted just yet. It's kills for Costa Rica, though. Oh, that's a bit of a yikes. Smittis loses his teammate with the long and labored spray down. 1v5. It's definitely not impossible, but he's not going to have time to pull off this reload here onto the pistol. They should be able to overwhelm him. Ooh. He can't get it done. The quick scope from Mata is enough to close it out. 14 now for Costa Rica. Guatemala losing themselves here in the overtime. This is, again, despite, you know, what you might say about what they're able to, you know, get down, what they're able to pull together in timeouts. Yeah. I think a timeout would be required.
Absolutely. I mean, really, Guatemala are falling apart here. This is now 2 in a row for Costa Rica, where they've just looked really good again. And I don't hate the idea of a lurk play out towards B. The only issue is that when it came towards those fights on the A site, a similar thing where one goes lurking over towards connectors to try and find a fight there. He gets caught and leaves his teammate just so alone. And those B players, they go down just a little bit too early. It doesn't sell the ruse as much as they had wanted. 1 for 1. Lighter does actually get away with a kill on towards stage, but at least Mittis will trade back.
XYZ gets aggressive and finds Timon over the flames. He's left worse for wear, but they will take it. If they can find the flawless CT half, it would be a huge deal here, shutting down Guatemala massively. A play comes round, 2 in at CT, ready to go. And BJM pulls them in. Looks all too easy, man. Guatemala have disappeared into this overtime as Costa Rica picking up that flawless first half on their CT side.
And we've seen this happen before as well, haven't we, right? We saw this happen yesterday, where it required that third map, because Guatemala sometimes just will randomly fall off the face of the earth, and that is exactly what the case is here. Oh, it's really, really tough to watch, but honestly, I mean, Costa Rica, credit to them. I feel like they deserve this third map now, because Guatemala are non-existent. There is nothing from them. They've completely turned into a different side. You know, even if you look at kind of where we were maybe like 6-7 rounds ago, it looked like it was going to be a comfortable see-off for Guatemala. They need to be flawless on this CT side, which we've already mentioned they've had their problems with, so let's see.
Yeah, let's see indeed. Would be a hell of a thing if they can take us to another one. It opens up well for them, however. The double AWP lean. could be the difference maker. We'll see. We'll see. Mid-control comes round for Costa Rica. And they are looking to keep it kind of simple here with the deficit. Maybe boost a player up. Hope to get a catch. Is it going to be contended for? It looks like Mittis is indeed on this one. The smoke's going to go down soon. So it could be a big fight. He's opted to drop back. And that's a risky move. He is still there with eyeballs, but does leave his teammate a little vulnerable. Now he's going to drop away. So keep your eyes on all this, folks. Meanwhile, the bomb itself is in the apartments looking to hit the B-bomb site. But Rainmaker is here indeed to make it rain tears, I think, ultimately. There's no chance getting past that up.
Yeah. Safe to say this one's probably not going to get off the ground here. Timon. Was holding. Rainmaker going to get caught by JBC. Let's put on another. In all fairness, maybe a chance if the Orbital train on the right angle. Oh, and he misses both opportunities. Hang on. Costa Rica might be able to level this in terms of the numbers. It's a really messy fight. JBC was so nervous to fight there, and that'll cost him his life. All right. Maybe still on, though. Oh, gonna fight one more 2v2. Oh, no. We've not fallen apart like this. It's left down to one man, Anti, in a 1 versus 2 to keep Guatemala in this game. Time is ticking. The fights are really janky, and he will fall. Guatemala have completely dwindled, fallen off the face of the earth there, but credit to Costa Rica. What a resurgence.
Yeah, absolutely, man. A wild sort of overtime there, to be honest. I think, like I say, just a timeout to sort of ice yourself and be like, yo, we've got to relax. We've got to hold this down. Absolutely insane to see. But Costa Rica, credit to them, will manage to find that second map, their Mirage. It is hard fought, but they found the second win. They found the extra level to indeed take it to this third map now. And I think that, you know, things really open up. This Guatemala side is just all over the place at the best of times, to be honest with you. And very, very puzzled as to where they go, because it felt like, you know, not only was the second half looking good, but the closeout really, really possible for them. And they just, fell off that cliff again. Not the first time we've seen this.
Yeah, I mean, the unfortunate thing is that we've seen this in every series out from them. It's a really uncomfortable and awkward thing about them, where for Guatemala, they just lack this, I guess, this cutthroat ability to see off these hurdles. I mean, we saw it happen. 9-3 up, completely fell apart yesterday against Ecuador. And in that instance, you're all the way up. You see one more round and you falter, you go in towards overtime, and a complete shadow of your former selves. It's super tough to see. And a lot of rounds, which they'll look back in hindsight and just say, how have we actually let these slip away? And the worrisome thing is that they're now, from Guatemala being in a position of saying they are more or less going in towards the playoffs, is basically how it felt. We were already talking about the playoffs, and now they're at a point where that even could not be happening. The way they've let things slip, they've allowed Costa Rica back in towards this game when they never should have. And yeah, tough to watch. A lot of mistakes. I think this is the issue as well for Guatemala. It's just a lot of unforced errors that they make, and when it happens in a usual situation that you'll see maybe at kind of like a tier 1 level, for example, which does show obviously the difference between the tier 1 level and Guatemala here, is that, you know, when this happens at a tier 1 level, they'll realize, okay, damn, that was a mistake, and then, you know, it doesn't happen again. The issue is with Guatemala is that it does, right? We saw it happen multiple times where we see things like isolated fights, not playing with each other, or the spacing being a little lackluster, and on the fly, they struggle to fix those issues.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, this round that we're seeing on the replay there is kind of the egregious example of that, where 4v2, just, you know, trade's not quite there and communication not quite there either. So it seems like they play it a lot by ear, and to be honest, without the performance of Rainmaker in regulation, I think Mittis sort of picked things up towards the tail end and into the overtime, but, you know, he was like 16-5 or whatever. Without him, I don't see them really having much of a chance of staying alive there. It could have been a very, very one-sided affair. See across the board on the other side, there's still a few fraggers who are pretty high up, but a bit more weight being pulled by the supporting cast, as it were. So it paints a bit of a nicer picture for Costa Rica. Still, really, really worrisome stuff now headed into this third map. And I don't know, I don't want to put my money where my mouth is, because I just don't really know what to expect out from this Guatemala team. We've seen some fantastic rounds from them, some great individual moments, but just does not happen when it sort of matters most. I don't know. It's weird. It is very, very weird. Also, in other rounds, they had some super clean finishes and some kind of wherewithal to know that it needs the discipline, that it needs to be that big round energy here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, now we're heading towards map number 3 to decide who is heading forward to tomorrow. Before we get there, however, we're going to throw this one to a quick break. Ladies and gents, sit tight. See you soon.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back in. Third and final map here to decide this one. All the way down to the wire. I think it's definitely what we wanted out of this matchup. Of course, a deciding game to find out who's going to be playing off against the United States. Guatemala looked good for a while there onto that T side, right? We thought that they had the energy behind them to, at the very least, make it competitive, and then should have perhaps taken it over the line. You can make an argument for both sides into the overtime play, but once it got into overtime, not a single round, completely fell apart, lost to a 4v2, you know, wild ride as Guatemala disappear once again. Not the first time we've seen that from them.
Yeah, and it is just a big issue, and I think, you know, this is the thing, this is a side that are wanting to try and make it towards LAN, or, you know, if they want to try and, you know, even if they are on LAN, you can't go with these quite actually large periods of just going completely missing. I mean, if they are to win here, they will be facing off against the United States, right? And we know that they'll just punish them, right? The second you lose control of the tempo, anything of the sort in that sort of region, they're going to be in such a tough spot. So I don't know, we look at this just in maybe a slight bit of annoyance, because we know how good Guatemala are, right? Their highs are so high. I mentioned this right at the start of the day, or the series, I guess. It's like they've got really high highs, but they've got some pretty low lows where they just completely turn into a different side. And we saw that at the end. I think the biggest issue for me with Guatemala is just when things do go wrong, I think they panic a little bit. And you mentioned it, right? One tack pause, right? Maybe after 2 or 3 rounds lost, I'm thinking, just take a breather here, guys. You're probably going to be okay. You're still in the lead, this, that, and the other. But unfortunately, when you don't have a coach on your side, I just don't think it's part of the mindset. You know, especially, you know, how often do we call tack pauses when we're playing a game in like competitive or face it or whatever, and we're a little bit tilted and we're losing a few rounds when we look like we're in a good spot, right? We don't. We kind of just go into it and hope things will change. I think this is the same sort of onus here, where Guatemala are hoping things will change for them just by playing out the rounds, but the best thing they could have done is probably just call for attack pause. You get like 30 seconds plus the 20 seconds that you get at the round time as well. That's a good amount of time. You don't have to say anything. All you have to do is just sit there and just take a breath, just take a breather and think, okay, what went wrong for me in that previous round or the previous couple of rounds, and then coming in towards the next with an actual game plan. I don't know how much of a leadership role there is of someone in the team. A lot of teams here have obviously been playing primarily with quite a puggy nature, which is basically just 5 riflers, maybe somebody loosely calling out of spawn, but maybe even just a simple call of, right guys, let's do A smokes here, right? It's something that they just didn't really do, especially that tail end where things were going bad. Take a little pause and maybe just, right, let's do a little A smokes, play together. But unfortunately, what they would do is they would continue going into every round and play isolated. Costa Rica just got gifted kills all over the map. It's frustrating because we watch it in hindsight. We know how good Guatemala can be, but now we go towards map number 3 and they hit 12, right? They were up to potentially closing this one out, and there's a chance now they might have opened the door back open for Costa Rica.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. They had that upper hand and they let it slip, you know. And now, again, it's kind of, you have to look towards this and you can try and remain positive as best that you possibly can, but are they going to be able to bounce back? It's difficult to say. Is Rainmaker going to be able to put up the same numbers? Probably not. Right? So there's a lot here that has to go your way and continue going right. Costa Rica on with this CT side, start looking to build a hefty lead again, and they've got 4 out on A. They're already playing confidently.
And they come. Playing in front of the smoke. No, actually dips into it, waiting for a bit of timing. However, could leave his teammates isolated. Lighter going to get one. Trying to dip away. Spots running towards short as well. Molotov to clear Cold Zero box. Nobody here. Oh, actually going to get gifted the site.
Yeah, certainly strange, but Costa Rica opting to go for a bit of a longer game. They've got that kit available, right? Don't need to rush into things. Moving short. Both of them as well. Slow but sure. There's been a little bit of a drop in there, and Lighter finds the player at the back end of the site as well. Mitis, it was his job to watch short. I think he's just kind of like crouch peeking it, playing a bit safe, and got timed on. You know, not much else to it really, and Costa Rica therefore win out the 2v2.
Yeah, nicely done. I mean, there was a moment where it looked, potentially a little bit worrying just because they give up that site and they just say, here you go, right? The control is yours. Get a bomb down, set a post bomb up, all the rest. It did look for a moment like it could have been slightly concerning, but yeah, thankfully, in the end, it is not to be. First taken, but of course, with a bomb plant, there could be a temptation to buy here. Guatemala going to opt for no. So this sort of low streak that we're in at the moment for Guatemala sort of continues in towards map number 2. I don't think you want to allow Costa Rica to have too much control on the CT side. If we've been saying their best rounds have come from the T side, if Costa Rica coming towards this, start strong and look confident out the gates on the CT and build up a nice little repertoire, be a little concerning. 1 for 1 ain't bad, though.
Well, P250 ringing away. Does manage to find a frag. Dealt with pretty quickly, however. There is not much that Guatemala can do about this with no bomb around. They will barrel on through towards B. I think the footsteps may well have been heard there, and the issue is, again, that bomb is kind of lagging behind. Timon is in a good spot ahead of the curve. Spotted the bomb out now. Can't do too much about stopping it from going down. He knows he's a little bit weary and has to take his time finding that frag. Mitt is on 1 HP. Is actually very lucky to be able to get that bomb plant in, but Guatemala will definitely take it. If he even finds a kill from here, I would be very happy with that. Okay, fair play. Ends up being costly and a bolster of the bank.
Yeah, we can talk about some silver linings there. We'll take it. I mean, 3 out of 5, but of course the defuse will come through and they will maybe make sure they pick up everything on the way out. It's still going to be a 2-0, but I think for Guatemala, you can be relatively happy with that, in all fairness. I think this small little positives you can take is the main thing, but maybe a little bit more expensive than Costa Rica would have liked. I think all they're going to care about in the early part of this game is just getting these rounds on the board, making sure that they build up that repertoire, making sure that they're not feeling too concerned in the early part of this game. Well, Guatemala first, true gun run. Let's see what they've got to showcase for us. If we can see maybe a strong one here where for Guatemala they set the tempo early and showcase again what was the real high moments of the T-side of Mirage, then you can start to believe again, but they got to kind of earn our trust back.
Nice find from Timon early on. Quick moves from Guatemala is, of course, what they order. Nade does a little bit of damage. However, it's on the other side of the map in the long hauls that XYZ takes so much damage from a bit of a spray fight. So, looking very, very good for Guatemala here, actually.
It's true. It's very true. Opening one. I mean, how low XYZ is. I mean, he might shell up a little bit. Get a little nervy. Doesn't want to overfight. Might try and rely on an individual like Lighter, for example, to do most of the work. 50 seconds. Molotov going to come down. Especially going to make sure just not to be in the open. So we'll stick around for a bit of a fight. And Anti gets caught off guard. Didn't expect the aggression. Same will happen to Timan. As JBC drops him, but Mitas still going to do good work. I say that. That's a bold call from JBC. I mean, he completely gives away a freebie. And they're going to give it around.
Okay. Yeah. Just kind of out of nowhere. The end there fell apart pretty quickly for Costa Rica. Big round to be taking with some of the damage that came in that prior round. We see Costa Rica having hardly any money to work with. I'd argue for a force here, honestly. I think they just have to even out that economy as best they can, but they're going, well, indeed in for it, but then BJM saving some money, maybe for like an AWP in future rounds. I can kind of get behind it, ultimately. Yeah. Oh, no, okay, all right, he's going to go for it. Yeah, they're like, yo, if we're doing this, we're doing this. He gets the M4 out.
Yeah, it is one of those where I don't really see the point in saving that much if the rest of your team aren't. Oh my god, he's gonna knife him. Oh my god. Also, can I just say, the crazy thing about that is not the fact that he knifes him. The crazy thing is that Rainmaker, again, is alone, right, which is a standard, but he doesn't even check left or right. He just says, right, I'm sure he's probably alone. Costa Rica now just know that this is a guarantee.
Yeah, that's true. JBC is here with the MP9. The M4 dealt with quickly, so that's kind of a big deal. No scope from stage. Nothing else he could do. Didn't have any time to think. Just had to pull the trigger. Bomb hits the deck. The AWP continuing to be a problem, however. An incredibly chaotic round here. And that smoke has dissipated now in towards CT. XYZ, they're going to try and draw him out, but no bite. What the hell's happened there? Where did that flash come from? Matter will manage to find the frag. Stage, meanwhile, clutches up quickly. And Guatemala saved there against the force bite.
A little bit of BM at the end there, in all fairness, but yeah, I mean, just another instance where it is a little concerning just how isolated he is alone, but Stage, really nice round out of him on an individual basis. Honestly, I mean, Costa Rica probably should have taken that, and they themselves fall to the problem that really let down Guatemala a lot in towards Mirage, because they played too isolated. If they just played together, they probably have a decent spot to work with. Oh, tries to get shot on the cross. Can't. Low buy out for Costa Rica here. With that being a force in towards the last. I mean that for them. Not a hell of a lot they can work with in towards this one. A few 5-7s as the only real saving grace. It should be pretty easy.
Okay, yeah. Will be if Rainmaker's able to lay down 3 like it's nothing. Looking for his eco ace, but definitely been on a heater since that second map. Oh, until he mollies himself off. It works, though. It works. It draws him in. It draws him in, and he gets his 4K. The ace itself, I don't think is going to happen. 5-7 is deep behind enemy lines. And he will go down. So, flawless one here for Guatemala. Moving up to 3. Looking to solidify their position, though, with another rifle win.
It's true. This is good for them, right? We've got a bit of form pretty early, which is looking pretty good in the most part. And, of course, now an opportunity to really put a lot of pressure on towards Costa Rica. They are able to take this gun round against them. That would give them a massive bolster early in towards this round. And, of course, on the other side, when you look at Costa Rica's buy, well, it is a full buy. Just bringing a FAMAS does bring in an MP9 too. And itself is maybe a little bit of a concern. Not exactly that full investment that they would have loved to have had, or at least rifles across the board. Guatemala, this is a prime opportunity. Take this. They probably get up towards like a 5-2 scoreline. And already that's not too bad.
Low in the smoke. Trying to make something happen with it. Maybe a flash off the back, but they just go straight on through. There's nobody here on the other side. It is Matter. And he panics. He gets caught, man. That's really not good. Lighter will take the presence in the apartments. 2 towards the pit. It's a nice double down with the nades. 1 the HE, 1 the flash. JBC trying to just stay alive and maybe take another one with him before he goes down. Not going to happen. So the advantage swings up. The AWP lagging behind is not expected at all. It is BJM. Not a chance here with the MP9. He tries his damnedest, but down he will go. Guatemala moving up to 4.
Yeah, a little bit of a lesser buy there, and unfortunately, with that lesser firepower, it's made quite evident. Guatemala just brute forced their way in towards that side with 3 staying alive at the end as well. They're not even really made to work for it. Not bad. Not bad at all. 4-2. Now things are becoming once again quite dicey. Quite dicey indeed. We have a low buy, couple of greater pistols. Should be that 5th I spoke of, though. Guatemala once again looking good as they did in towards Mirage, where they take clean, consistent control, and they're not really pulling too many punches, but we'll always continue to throw it out there about their CT side being something that does worry us a little bit.
JBC kind of close to the action here. He wants a fight. Oh. Yorp has just seen him and, of course, scared him off. For the time being, he will go back in. Because he knows no bounds here. Meanwhile, in that mid-room, I think there's maybe potential for the CZ to find something. Costa Rica chomping at the bit to take a fight, but not wanting to overstep.
Minute mark. Hit. For Costa Rica. Hoping that they can isolate a fight to maybe get an upgrade of a weapon of some sort, but nothing really being given their way. JBC tries. Get caught by Anti. The Tech 9 spamming, though, in all fairness. Outdoes Lighter in that one. Who needs an auto battle for stage? He's happy to do it with the pistol himself. Mata's going to get caught. That's the sight. That's the round.
Yeah, looking good. Guatemala rolling through the motions again here on the T side of things. Starting well. Can they keep it up is the big question. But this is indeed looking good for the time being. Pistol sticking around to try and take a name or two. Not going to happen, however. BJM, the only one left, and may as well try and throw himself at this. He's holding around for some exits. No one going to come his way, unfortunately, so just has to back away, tail between legs.
Yeah, it's true. We'll keep hold of a Deagle. And that's about it. At least he's given that luxury. But a flawless one comes through for Guatemala. Nobody goes down. And yeah, no complaints for them. Pretty simple stuff that we're in at the moment. 5-2 though. And we go back into the reinvestment. This time it also once again requires a little bit of a lesser pickup of BJM going in towards that MP9. That in itself is a tough one. Didn't let them down towards that last buy that they had, where they had that MP9, they had that FAMAS, and they got, you know, just overwhelmed in terms of pure firepower. It could be the same sort of situation here. MP9 trying to get active, though, pushing down Banana.
No one on the other end of it. They'll get that Banana control pretty much 4-3. Just got to be careful of these stray bullets. However, XYZ in particular is left really low. And this is sort of another thing here. Costa Rica, they take the Banana control. And they don't know what to do with it, necessarily. I'm going to rotate across towards A, but that deep control can be pretty beneficial. They'll stick around on the wall. Okay, I thought they were really going to bail on it. So this is not a bad setup there in Banana. And, of course, a pretty good setup on A, looking at what's around the corner. Mata goes back in for a bit more. Standing strong here. XYZ's got him covered as well. 5 versus 3 for Costa Rica. Looks good, but it does hang a little bit.
True. Very true. JBC, backside. Get one, that's good. Mitz is going to get caught as well. Looking to double it down as he's trying to play around the boxes here. But in fact, it's Light who steps up with a big final towards Rainmaker. And his teammate, Stage, will also drop as well. Costa Rica desperately been searching for a fight. And finally get it in their favor. And they take those heads-up duels. They take a round. And put a third on the board to just chip away the deficit a little bit. Not giving Guatemala too much control. They're taking that, Guatemala. We're talking about them maybe even pushing up towards the likes of 7 on the T side. And at that point, that could have already started to spell maybe even the beginning of the end. But yeah, so far, not to be.
Timon close to the action here on the other side of this smoke. Flash comes over. It's perfect. He's a little slow, but he'll win it. Really lovely move. Oh, that's a team nade. And it does a lot onto Mitt, actually. So, not ideal, but still looking good for Guatemala here with the lead.
Okay. Opening kill for Guatemala. Taken, which I think is the important one. Now a bit of a chance as well. Creeping up in towards mid. I want to get proactive here, Costa Rica. I want to have a little look. Time is of the essence. We're going back towards B with the bomb. The whole group of 5 as well are going to be pushing up via Banana. No split that come through via mid. 2-2 split, both towards backside. This is tough.
I like it, though. The orb ready to go. Yeah, indeed. Oh, going to be difficult to deal with. A clean headshot comes around. BJM maybe could have had one there. Gets a bit panicked. He's Molotov'd out now. He's got to take the fight. The dink is close, but not enough. And it's a save for Costa Rica here. Again, a team that seemed to be pretty happy to take these saves, and this would be the apt time.
I think it's true. There's just no point, is there? Those double AK saves, there's no world in which you need to bring these in towards at least any sort of a retake. Even the exits, I don't think it's worthwhile either. Like, keep hold of what they've got. It's going to be Guatemala now going up towards a 6th, which isn't bad for this T side now on Inferno, which is, you know, statistically the most even map in terms of T and CT sided. This is pretty good. Pretty good indeed. Costa Rica are dwindling. While Guatemala failed to close things out in towards Mirage, it looks like they've got big advantages in their favor here now. A good spot as well. A lot to like coming out from this side. Yeah, from what I've seen so far, there's moments which are a little worrying out for Costa Rica. They're being caught off guard, just a little bit caught asleep at the wheel. It seems to have these issues towards them where Guatemala are punishing. Opening fights have been very good for the T side. I can't discredit them on that at all. Costa Rica have got to find a way to at least play off each other. If Guatemala want to be fighting early, got to try and find these trades.
Banana control comes nice and easy. And they may well, yeah, just, you know, try and go for it here. Still a fair belt of util. Preemptive smoke. And, you know, Guatemala can just sit behind this and go, okay, well, let's just wait it out. Continue starving information. It's a lovely little setup from Guatemala, actually, to catch any kind of A aggression at this point. And Costa Rica not able to do much about it. Smoke starts to go down. They will begin to move in.
All right. It's going to find Rainmaker. That's an important one. Anti then going on to back. Still 2 for the CT side here. One playing in towards Dark. BGM messing around with the knife. Let's get the gun out, mate. You're about to fight in a second. The first goes well. Second, looking for it. He actually gets the wrong player. He gets the player towards backside. But a kill's a kill all the same. 1v2 now for Mitters. 23 seconds. Smoking towards Coffin. Tap on towards the bomb. Beta fighting towards CT, but doesn't get given it. Oh my. He now actually has to use this smoke to plant, and he will just about get out of there. He doesn't even take a tag.
Sneaking away. Could be massive here for Mitters, but there's only really one area that he can be in. The Molotov not quite good enough, however. And he's managed to just about creep in. Can't find it. Lighter saves the day. Still gives it a look towards the molly. He must have made a step or something along those lines, nonetheless. Bit dangerous for a second. They will make it work. Costa Rica moving up 2-4, closing the gap at the tail end of the half.
Yeah, at least keeping this a little close, right? I mean, a 2-round game and keeping the pressure on towards Guatemala because they reinvest straight back in. Stage pick was AWP and with money left in the back pocket, so no worry just yet. And still a real tough spot that we're in where we need to be careful. Guatemala don't want to allow Costa Rica off the back of a really strong start. Don't want to allow them to start coming in towards this and tying the half up, for example, putting the pressure back on and all the rest. That would be pretty damning.
It would indeed. Starting to move towards the A side of things, though, for Guatemala. They went for a long haul B last round. Didn't quite work for them. Going for a faster A in this one. Out towards long, a variation of a round that we have seen before. No AWP on the other side of things, though. They will indeed just go barreling on in. JBC, a little giddy for it. Mata tries to do what he can from the pit with the AWP, but it is difficult. I think that's the second time that library smoke's been missed, by the way.
Yeah.
But it's all good because they still hit some heads, you know, and they're trying. They're certainly trying. I think that's the thing that counts. But all the same, Guatemala moving up to 7, an immediate response from them.
Yes, that's it. Guatemala, at least for them, they, you know, come back off the back of losing a round and they just don't let it affect them. Something that happened quite a bit, obviously, in towards our previous situation, at least in this one, it is taken back with ease. Only the one casualty too. No complaint at all. I'll go for a hunt. I get it. Oh, no. BGM will get his. He's trying to stay alive. He's trying to stay alive, and he actually will. Good work for that second kill. Fair play. 7-4, though. My, oh, my. Costa Rica, they've not given themselves a lot in. If it goes 8-4, they don't give themselves a hell of a lot of chance to work. 7-5, though, still potentially keeps something on the cards. Yeah, the real issue and the real worry is this goes 8-4. Guatemala find a pistol, that's it.
Big damage onto Mata. It's going to be a boost up here for Costa Rica to work with on A. As Guatemala may be looking for a similar round to the previous. Indeed, but changing things up slightly doesn't work for them here. They will finally manage to take the player up top, but XYZ is ready. They tried to, you know, bait it out and maybe catch them off. The logic is there, but unfortunately... Okay. What is going on, man? Who is this guy? Who is this player on the Guatemala side that's like, yo, I got the library smoke on lock, guys. Watch this. Don't worry. Just a few pixels off. Don't worry. No. It's
third time's the charm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't get the jump quite right. Now, by the third time, I think they know he got to be a fraud for sure.
Yeah, fella, hit the knot out here, demos. Let's clean these up, shall we? Because these smokes are pretty important as well. You know, it's definitely an area that does need to be cleaned up. It's going. Looking at that, they're throwing it too high. So the normal setup, you use, there's basically like a pixel on the corner that you can line up with. I don't know where they're lining up, but it's wrong. I mean, surely it's got to be realized. I think it is the thing now. So right, somebody else got to throw this. I think is what we're trying to say. Either way, 7-5 half. I think that's workable for Costa Rica is the main thing I'm saying. 8-4 feels tough. 7-5, you get a pistol. Game is absolutely on.
Yeah, definitely. They've opened up well here as well, so this could be problematic. Ita finds Anti. A bomb site. It's only one player. It is hidden behind. Surely a little chunky round this box. Not going to be the case. Clean for the first. It's difficult for him to get any more, though. And that's fair play. A hard spot for him to be in. The Julies outside their optimal range there. It's just going to be down 2 stage. Oh, and there's a backstab. Okay, he's been spotted. It's not going to be anything crazy. But he's locked in. And this round is going to go the way of Costa Rica.
Messy one. And at the end, Mata, who actually started the round, sees it off. Nicely done for him. A little bit of mind games being played as well. I can get behind this. They have been, you know, shooting a couple of corpses throughout this series. And of course, we know the stakes are handed. This is a map number 3 of the final series of groups. Win this one off, and you are moving forward to the playoffs. As simple as that. You get that second spot over here towards Group B to face off against the United States. So this is pretty important. Hence why it's starting to get heated in the server, not only in terms of the frags, but also in terms of a little bit to BM and the mind games that are, you know, ever important.
USPs are out. No crazy stacks coming in this round. It would just be a conventional setup here to try and, again, take a couple of guns away. But Costa Rica really in a good spot. This could turn things upside down pretty massively. I'm looking forward to what they can bring us on this T side of things. Starts off well for them here. No threat thus far from the USPs.
Oh, that's a gifted one. JBC. Drops Anti, but BGM gonna get caught off guard by the USPS. Maybe didn't expect the stack here. However, with the stack, that'll tell them, A, it's completely open. In they move, and that'll be the round. And, you know, you're only dropping over on Mac 10. It's not the worst thing in the world, is it?
Nah, it's true, man. It is true. May well try and get in here if they are Guatemala. Again, to get some presents, take another name. Drop a rifle could be nice. Rainmaker gets spammed down. However, not going to happen for these B players. They're just hanging around, hoping to maybe catch a lurk at this late stage. It is kind of a challenge, but Costa Rica move up to 7 pretty easily. There is a rifle buy around the corner here, so looking forward to seeing what Costa Rica can do for us, man. It's been all about Guatemala with the guns, to be honest, up until sort of the very end when Costa Rica strung a few together. And then picking up the pistol has changed the game, obviously. A lot of pressure onto this first rifle.
Yeah, it does make you think as well, if we don't see Guatemala coming towards this first rifle and make it stick, they're under a lot of pressure. We see them at their weaknesses sort of throughout this game where they sort of struggle to have that consistency as much as they normally would on T side, as we see on the CT. So that for me is one thing that I feel a little worried about. First gun round though, let's take a look. I mean, interesting as well to see that Mitters keeps hold of the Mac 10, and they're actually not going to full invest in here. So, but the thing for me that I'm worried about when we see this first gun round out for Guatemala is how proactive are we going to get, right? I mean, the one thing that they really like doing is getting super up in the face of Costa Rica, getting aggro, trying to take fights and all the rest. The issue with that is that Costa Rica are happy to brawl as well. Part of their T-side game plan is brawling. So I wonder, in these sort of opening few rounds that we've seen here from Guatemala, where they haven't really had as much impact as they would want, how keen to brawl are we going to be heading in towards that first gun round? Are we going to see them trying to get active banana control? Are we going to see them try and fight in towards apartments looking via second mid? Or are they going to maybe play a little bit more passive and test the waters?
Timon out here with the P250. Not looking too good. He's not smoked off, though. Okay, never mind. He will be smoked off just as that bomb goes down. Rotation to here. Nice find by Anti on that P250. Ridiculous knowledge of the angles. AK going to be scooped back up by BJM, but there is a world here. Oof, Anti on 1 HP as the nade comes in. The boost up effective. The 5-7 on the backside dealt with. Stage will be disappointed he could not find that. It looks like they will weather this one. Timon does his best, the 2-piece at the end, but not able to steal that one away. Costa Rica moving up to 8, but indeed, this super strong buy now from Guatemala. What is the game plan? AWP out, full belts of utility. Like you said, if they're going to sacrifice a round to make this happen, they have to do something with it.
Yes, absolutely. Let's see. I'm interested to see what this kind of game plan is, though, for Guatemala. Because of how nervy the situation is, you know, you've got Costa Rica in towards a lead. A slight one, but a lead all the same. And with this being this third map and the risk that we find ourselves in at the moment, how akin to fight are we going to want to be here? How aggro do Guatemala want to play this? It's like for now, slow out the gates. Both sides really tentative. I mean, early smokes in towards banana, but not too much of a fight around it.
It is hidden behind. Not going to see any action quite yet because they have opted to smoke things off. Costa Rica moving slowly there. Actually vying for the top banana controls. This is about to be a bit of a mess. The boost up red 5 versus 4 coming in. Looking pretty good. Guatemala are able to drop back from it as well.
Okay. Oh, Flash can come through. I mean, Mata, he does actually get caught. I think it's one of his teammates, in all fairness, but it catches him and slows him down briefly. Gap on towards that truck angle. The fun to clear as well. Does a lot of time get overlooked. Doubling back, bomb. Alongside the rest of this core going towards B. Only one player here. Guatemala, they've called this wrong. They're leaving a boosted player up. A smoke in via CT. And now it's all down to Mitters to buy time for the rotations. Flash going to catch him as well. He has Timon coming in for support, but they will cross. They haven't cleared the boosted player, but he can't get a kill with it. And in fact, he is the one to fall. Bomb will go down. And now we're on here. This is going to be a top 4v4. There's util, at least in one smoke to work with for Costa Rica, which gets replenished back in towards CT. Now, they got one nade, which they just used. They've got to fight. First, JBC will find. Anti going to get caught. XYZ going to catch Timon as well. They might be calling this. They are reluctant to fight. And Rainmaker going to get caught as well. You hate to see it. Sage, he might even survive as well. They might want to chase him down. Yes, they will.
Oh, the knife was out. Okay. Mata a little cheeky with it, but they've kind of locked him in here, even if he finds this kill, which he doesn't. The bomb would have taken him. 9-2-7. Costa Rica. Not a huge turnaround, but still a good look for them to get that B bomb site working. Very, very clean stuff, despite the start from Guatemala, despite the sort of predictable move at the top end of Banana. They just had the confidence, you know? They stuck with it, and it worked.
Okay. Well. 2-round lead. So close now to this finish line as well. Wild spot that we're in, but I mean, where we look at things as well. For this Costa Rica side, we've now got this slight advantage, and because they'll know that the buy is going to be a little janky out towards Guatemala, this is a prime position for them. I mean, Guatemala have gone in for a force, right? And losing this puts Costa Rica not only up to a 10th, but probably gives them an 11th too. At that point, we're talking about nearly the beginning of the end.
Oh, big fight here in the apartments. 2-for-1 in favor of Costa Rica. So looking good for them. There is still this player in the pit, out in the open in the pit as well. Rainmaker. Oh my goodness. How does he even get one there? All over the place. Mitters has rotated in pretty quickly here, just trying to get ahead of the curve, but there's that moto smoke down, right? Makes his life very difficult. Nothing coming off, you would assume. The save might be happening here, but he feels like he's close to the action. Feels like he might as well go for it, right? Smoke going to start to go down now. Fight comes in. Can't quite win it. They just have to play around the time. Give him the respect. Lighter takes the swing. And that is clean. That is very clean indeed.
It's really nicely played at the end there as well. You know, they're diligent in their move up on towards that A site, and then in that post plan, very, very calm, composed, because they know they got the numbers in their favor, and they know where he's coming from. He's already fought and shown his presence out towards long. It's nice and easy. And in doing so, look where we're at now. Brilliant situation. 10-7. Oh my, Costa Rica 3 rounds ahead. Guatemala need to try and close the gap. Costa Rica, they're closing, they're barreling quickly. Seeing this Inferno off and stealing away the series. And just to remind you, Guatemala, they had map and series point and they let it slip, went to overtime, which never should have happened. But we are now. First fight is good. Rainmaker will find it. Stage will also add to it as well, but JBC will trade and they're going to go quick here.
Yeah, moving in fast, try and overwhelm as best they possibly can. It's a little bit messy. Lost a lot of members on the way in. Ooh, Rainmaker low on the other side. The nade, though, touches down to leave it just down to XYZ. I think they're a bit unsure of where he's at. He will reveal himself. Quick pluck out of the air. And not ready for that player over at Moto. So Guatemala, again, when it matters most, able to pull a round out.
They needed it. And honestly, for a moment there as well, I'm surprised Rainmaker even stays alive. He looked in a really dicey spot, at least on an individual basis, where he was so low. And I think they just didn't realize there was actually 2 playing towards shore. They kill the first guy. He's posted up over towards Barrel. not realizing there's actually another guy just below, because Rainmaker hadn't got a kill at this point. So I didn't confirm that actually this is not the guy who fought me. So small little things like that. They just didn't really realize the chance of a second. But ultimately, Guatemala stay alive. They still are at a deficit, and they still do have their back up against the wall ever so slightly. 2 rounds behind, trying to chip away at this deficit. Costa Rica, 3 rounds away from heading towards the playoffs. Fine margins, to say the least. A timeout and a chance to converse on both sides. Rare these timeouts, in all fairness, in this series. But this one, mega important.
Oh.
Okay.
We're back. We're back. Yeah. We had a little bit of an issue earlier on. I think that was more of a sort of... well, CSTV, as it's now called, issue.
True.
Good way. Mitis tagged up super early into the round here. No kills coming off as yet, but Costa Rica with some decent presence in Banana.
Okay. It all goes quiet. Spam that smoke. Nothing going to be found behind it. What's the play? Where's the finish towards Costa Rica? Sometimes they can be very, very slow, but in this instance, they've already got top banana control. They've got decent actually controlling towards mid-bracket as well. Oh my. Be on for something, but Stage going to get that first.
Another one comes round from Stage. Big deal for him. Solid advantage now for Guatemala as well. Costa Rica got to make this B-bomb site work then. They've had success here in the past. Molotov and nades raining on in. The spray not quite there. Timon, though, trying his best. Will it be enough? He takes one with him. Does a lot of damage to the remaining 2. However, spam through the smoke is a little close. Rainmaker, of course, feeling excitable here to try and go for it. Catches XYZ in midair. It's all on BJM. Super low HP here. And can't get it done on those sort of timing peaks. Guatemala pick up 9 here. Bring it within 1. There should be just about enough money for Costa Rica to get something going. Might be a little difficult now, actually, with, the money being reduced, of course, on the bomb. All the same, Guatemala should, therefore, pick up their 10th and even up the scoreline.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. My God, this game has got... It still feels like quite a bit of life left in it. Just when it felt like Costa Rica were in a prime position to, see this into potentially the map, the series, all the rest. Now we're looking at this with the thought process of actually going the distance in regulation, if not more, as we saw towards our previous map. Never-ending, it seems, between these two. Oh my... This is a wild spot they're in there. Of course, low buy coming through. The first fight, Mata gets caught. Can't do anything there, can he? Anti, gonna get the first of these.
Mitsiz comes round for one of his own. Yeah, looking good. Not a difficulty at all for the Guatemalan side. Costa Rica getting a bit scary now. They were the ones with the upper hand. They were looking like they might have this one in the bag, but ultimately not the case here, as you can see. And it comes down to this rifle, it feels like. Guatemala are going to have money available, but on the Costa Rica side, if they lose this, goes to 11, and then they'll be in that position of, like, do we force, do we eco? Really, really worrying times ahead.
Exactly. Exactly that. Oh, tough, to say the least. Costa Rica having let things slip. They've given a lot of momentum over towards Guatemala, who so far look so good. Tough position that we're in. Spam. Not going to find too much there. Just going to leave 1 for the time being. Just 1. Over towards Banana. They can hold for rotations. If we don't see Guatemala get aggro and transition out of Banana, or he's pushed to wrap. gonna have to go through him first. But in all fairness, because he's not been tested too much, he's been peppered with Util, yeah, but he's not seen anybody. Because of that, they've brought the group back over. Now 3 making their way over towards B. A 4th going to come join them. We're going to leave 1 as a lurk player over towards second mid.
Kind of a nice idea. Just keep some presence down over there. If they can get it timed well, he might be able to cut off a rotation. He might also keep those rotations just in place. 35 seconds. Costa Rica winding it down. That smoke is criminal. Crack angle for Mittis. As soon as he spots a bit of presence, he will get it down. And Costa Rica do not have a lot of time now. They're going to go in with the execute anyway. The AWP comes round to take out the lurking presence. Flashes are in. Another site smoke down is really strong here. But we'll see. The bomb is still going to get planted. 4-on-4 coming in. Guatemala with the retake. This is going to be a real test of the metal. For all the marbles, it feels like it could be. Mata goes overlooked. Spots nobody else out in banana. So now they are trained in and ready for the hit towards the CT angle. Costa Rica getting it done. Not a single kill on the retake from Guatemala. Costa Rica the first to hit 11.
My God, and they're making sure that Guatemala know about it as well. I don't blame them. You know, when Guatemala started their little streak of 3, they started with a little bit of a, you know, a little bit of BM, making sure the mind games and all the rest. So I don't blame Costa Rica now getting a little vocal with the guns, that is. Brilliant stuff, though. My God, what a spot that we are in. 11 for Costa Rica. Inching closer and closer. Just 2 more rounds that they need. Buy and place it. Guatemala, you lose this. We're talking about maybe this being done and dusted. He actually ends up nading his teammate there, but Tim are going to get the first kill nonetheless.
BJM stood up strong for that frag. So it looked good for just a second. However, Costa Rica have managed to get the fights back in their favor. It has heated up here. Feels like both teams desperate for kills, desperate to try and make this work. It's Costa Rica coming out on top for the time being, but it could all change in an instant here.
All right. We're going to pump the brakes for a second here. I mean, you've got a minute to work on. You've got the numbers in your advantage. Costa Rica, there's no need to really get too active here. However, Guatemala getting proactive. There's the first, and the second might come with it as well. Bomb gets dropped. Oh my God, it's messy. That is not good. Costa Rica gonna get caught in a bad way there. Pants around their ankles, Uto in hand, and bomb drop 2 in a tough to recover position.
Yeah, really not ideal. Really not ideal. Oh, there's a man in towards mid as well in the form of stage. He's a little fearful, but try and play off the timing. They're a bit everywhere at the moment. He'll get traded. Can't make it away. You knew it was tough. It was one way or the other, really. And just could not escape away. So 1 versus 1. Maybe to save the game. The money is not good for either side, really, but especially Guatemala. If it goes 12-10, they're going to be on with a really bad bye. JBC getting confident here, and Timon just maybe letting him play it out. Let this smoke go down. Is there any funny business happening? JBC, meanwhile, also patient. Straight into his crosshair. Could not get easier than that. Costa Rica, 1 round away from the semi-final tomorrow, and indeed a bit of energy, a bit of meanness there right at the death.
It's been a long, long series, dude, and you can see, you know, those sort of 1v1s, those clutches can be massive. That can give you a huge second win. And Costa Rica, they want to try and close this. Oh my. Guatemala. I mean, look at the buy we've got to work with here. Quad MP9, Rainmaker can only pick up a deagle. This could be, I mean, that round there could be the straw that breaks the camel's back, we like to say, right? That could be the one that absolutely kills them. I say that, though. Stage will find the first. Another instance where Costa Rica do just get caught napping for a brief moment. Thankfully, a quick response.
Indeed. Still, Guatemala, I think, will kind of take any positive fights. 1 for 1 is usually pretty clean for a T side, but it comes so deep into the map that they have to do a lot of retaking, a lot of utility expenditure. Anti, ready to go here. Oh, the nade is nice. It's actually a bit too deep in the end. So could make a difference here. They've drawn away from A as well. Costa Rica right at the tail end, getting so very lucky. Anti has no idea. Just got timed on in the apartments there, didn't he? And it may well cost them the game here now.
Absolutely. Down to this, 4 versus 3. Smoke, Moto, Molly behind it as well. Bomb planted safe. I mean, this is as tough as it gets for Guatemala in terms of a retake. We're looking at double MP9 on the Deagle. Utah-wise, we've got 3 sets of flashes. No, 4, may I say, and 1 smoke. Oh my, this is not the easiest one. At least they've got a bit of Utah to work with. But they're all going to get isolated. I spoke too soon. Costa Rica, what a recovery and what a colossal crumble coming through from Guatemala. They were mapping series point. They were on the verge of seeing it over in towards a 2-0, taking this series of ease and being done an hour and a bit ago. And they fell flat. They went towards overtime. They lost it. And they came in towards map number 3. They risked it on Inferno. And it came back to bite them. Credit to Costa Rica. Not even for a moment did they give up in towards this series. And that takes some serious mental fortitude. Absolute credit.
Yeah, it will catch up with them, unfortunately, on the Guatemalan side of things. They managed to get the 2-1 victory against Ecuador and were sort of forgiven for what happened on Mirage there. 13 rounds in a row that they dropped, and it's again on Mirage, you know, a bit of unfortunate coincidence. But ultimately, it's been an issue that we've seen a couple times, not one that has been picked up on as yet. Maybe feeling there's not enough time to get into it, not enough time to work out the kinks. But Costa Rica also on them, I think, with the way that Guatemala were playing and some of the rounds that we saw come out from Costa Rica, the surge that they had there right at the tail end, maybe there's also an argument for them to have a slightly stronger performance. And the difficulty now is that they move forwards into those playoffs, yes, but they have the United States waiting for them, the #1 seed, for sure. Been looking absolutely fantastic across the course of the weekend, so it's going to be difficult. They'll have some time to work on things, but earlier games tomorrow as well, I do believe. So we'll see what the case is going to be there. But in the same vein, a great Inferno from them at the very least, right? And they have put Guatemala to bed. They have played a heck of a T-side towards the tail end of things. Maybe the individuals, not quite there. It's something that's made a big difference in this game, is the fact that you have a few names on the Guatemalan side that were able to take over the game. So that is something to consider from Costa Rica. But as a team, as a unit, they seem to just have that discipline, someone to listen to, and some decent mid-round calls in there where Guatemala, a lot of overzealous kind of facing and a lot of moments that ended up costing them rounds.
Yeah, you know, it's something that, you know, we've actually caught Guatemala all the way through this qualifying. There's one word that I'll always throw out towards them, and it doesn't matter whether it's the T side, the CT side, whatever map it is, it's just discipline for me. That's the big thing. And I think you learn discipline with experience, with having, you know, a high level or at least dedicated call. I'm not 100% sure in terms of the roles over towards Guatemala, of whether they have somebody who's taking the reins as an IGL, but it would, at least the assumption would say to not. There's a couple of instances where they would really just overfight or have these tendencies to do things isolated on their own, where an IGL would sort of rein you in a little bit. And I think that's just the thing that Costa Rica have going for them. They feel like they at least have a system where things are okay for them, and because of that, it is a big positive for me. You know, I look at it in this way for Guatemala. This is a sort of qualifier which is heartbreaking, right? It's commiserations to Guatemala, but it's one that you really can learn from. These are the things that, you know, these mistakes that were actually quite consistent all the way throughout this qualifier, that with the right sort of knowledge, you know, look back at the demos, look back at the VODs and realize, damn, man, like if we had just done a few things different, I mean, they should have taken it in 2, let's be honest, right? Did a few things different and they would have taken it in 2. So for Guatemala, this is a massive learning experience, a big learning curve as well, these sort of qualifiers, when it comes down to a best of 3 on the final day, the final best of 3 in groups to see who's making it out. No room for error, and unfortunately too many errors were made, and simply put, we have to say goodbye to Guatemala. But I'm hoping we get to see them come back next year, whether it's with Malbs or not, right? This is a side who do have a lot of talent, and yeah, you know, fix a few issues, fix a few errors that have creeped in, and who knows.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. There's hope there for sure, but unfortunately for Guatemala, that is going to be the end of their tournament. Not quite the end for us. It has come to a close today, of course, but we've got more Counter-Strike coming up tomorrow. Like I say, I think we're going to be starting a little bit earlier, so keep your eyes on things, iesf.gg, and on all the socials as well. So make sure that you're kind of up to date with where things are at. But ultimately, it is the qualification games into tomorrow. We will be finding out who is going to make it through. It's Panama, Team USA, Canada, or indeed Costa Rica. Only 2 of those 4 will make it through to the World Esports Championships. But from myself and Neo, everybody at production, thank you very much for watching today. See you tomorrow.